Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Kris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all. Welcome and happy, what is today? Thursday? It's your boy Kris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, all that good stuff. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got to talk about this Saw news because it looks like they've been bought up by a whole new studio. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got a release date for Ready or Not 2. We got to talk about Madonna and this Ray of Light remix album, Veronica Electronica, after damn near 30 years. Well, almost, I should say 30 years. The remix album's going to be released. We got to talk about the Diddler, where the judge actually threatened to remove him from the courtroom because he was apparently trying to interact with the jurors when we all know that is not something you're supposed to be doing. Plus, Sunny Hostin said she was in a courtroom. She spilled some tea about the Diddler. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Russell Simmons is suing HBO Max because they said that documentary they made on him about them essay allegations is false. So he out here trying to get some coin out of HBO. We got to talk about Offset being upset because Cardi B had her son hair looking similar to her new boo. So we got the pictures, we got all other stuff. Plus, there's other drama going on with other, girls getting with scrubs. So apparently, DDG tried to file a request to prevent Halle Bailey from leaving the country with their son Halo because she has to go shoot a film. The judge ruled in her favor. We're going to talk about some stuff. She was spilling tea about him and his brother, all that other stuff. So we got to get into that story. Yeah, it's getting messy over there. This is what happens when you good girls get with these hood boogers. This is the drama y'all get caught up in. And then instead of using y'all IUDs and these men using their condoms, then y'all end up pregnant. This is the mess that y'all get yourselves in. So we got to talk about that. Plus, it looked like Romeo Beckham done broke up with his brother's ex-girlfriend because, Romeo Beckham was dating Brooklyn Beckham's ex-girlfriend. Brooklyn is married now to someone with a lot of coins, so he ain't got nothing to worry about on the financial department. But apparently Romeo's single now. So we'll talk about that and see. Well, does this mean that the family will get back together? Because Brooklyn kind of been estranged from the family and all other stuff. So we got to talk about that. Plus, speaking of money and riches and things of that nature, there's a story going around that Justin Bieber, because remember, we heard about Hailey Bieber. Apparently, now she's a billionaire because she sold her little fashion, her little makeup beauty brand, whatever the hell you want to call it, for $1 billion. Well, apparently, what I was thinking, I could have sworn I brought this up, that if they get a divorce, she actually technically will be the bigger breadwinner because she'll have more money. If they get a divorce, he can get half of her coins. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Andy Cohen was on The View the other day, since we was talking about The View earlier, and spilled some tea about Real Housewives of New Jersey, so we got to get into that. Ariana Biermann is spilling tea about her parents, saying that they done spent up all her damn money. I think she in a honey boo-boo situation. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got 2 homosexual stories. One being Marlon Wayans is out here, did another Pride photo shoot, and is showing love for the Levitical community. And we also have a famous socialite who says she wants to go on good old Drag Race. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we get into that, if you can please do me a solid, and if you can, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. Right after the show, I'll start working on putting in those timestamps for those who are going to be watching the show after the live chat. So that way you don't have to just stick through all the banter and stuff. You already know the deal. We do it every show. Yeah, I'll be putting in them timestamps for y'all and all that good stuff. On point, please, and thank you. I was like, I forgot I had to add another photo or something to the docket before we get started. Because, now it's just like I got to be converting things to things in order for it to work with the show. So in the meantime, hold on. Let me put in the comments because I already see a couple has already come in. I'm like, Is it on? Is it on? I think it is. It's got to give it a second. Okay, so let me hit my banner. Thank you all for tuning in so far. And without, excuse me, further ado, let's get into our first topic, which is this story that's going around that apparently Blumhouse has gotten the rights to the Saw franchise. So I don't know if a lot of y'all been paying attention, but I believe that last year, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking about this off the top of my head, that Saw 10 did what it did. Like the franchise I feel like was on thin ice as it was, because the last couple of movies really wasn't doing well. I didn't even think that I'm trying to debate whether or not I liked that Spiral movie, the one that was kind of like I can't say kind of because it was, that was in the Saw universe. That was, I think Chris Rock wrote the script, or was a part of it, and he was the lead in the film. That movie was all right. But then, so I thought kind of like Saw wasn't going to really be all that. But then all of a sudden, they made Saw X, brought back John Kramer. And then we also got Shawnee Smith to come back as well, aka Amanda. And then we were hearing that they were supposed to be making a Saw 11. Then all of a sudden, it was like we were hearing they were going to start shooting, never came about. Then apparently there was some trouble in paradise because the people that were at Twisted Pictures were fighting. And we thought that the future would be bleak for a new Saw film. So now comes word, and this is from yesterday, that we are getting a Saw movie, and it may be heading to Blumhouse, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was always kind of like the rumor floating around. They said, I remember ever hearing Blumhouse, I heard A24. A24 is a little too artsy fartsy to even be going over to a place like, to be tackling a Saw movie. I did think like the best option, even though Blumhouse, y'all have not been giving me what I need in regards to the horror stuff as of late. Y'all been dropping a lot of disappointing movies. That movie with the people, and that pool movie, and then you did one with Imaginary, and there was just so many bad films that's been coming out as of late. And I know y'all did y'all big one with Megan, which I hate the fact that people call Megan a horror movie, because quiet as it's kept, Megan is like a horror movie for beginners. Like if y'all somebody who don't usually be watching blood, gore, slashers, all that stuff, if y'all not in that whole horror, if you're not like a horror movie vet or somebody that's deep in the whole horror movie space, then if you want to start out watching something that's going to be a little tame, a little PG-13 vibe of horror, even though I don't believe Megan was PG-13, but it gave PG-13 tease in regards to the tone. And you can go and watch that. And now they're going to changing up the whole situation, and they doing like fucking Terminator with the girl. So now I'm like, okay. So y'all did a big one. That was a huge hit for y'all. And now y'all hoping to swing for the fences with this one. And then we saw the Black Phone 2 trailer that just came out a couple of days ago. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing that trailer. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm starting to feel that, even though I don't want to go all in as of yet, that Blumhouse might be getting themselves back on track, because y'all been a little rocky in the past couple of years, I'll say. So according to Deadline, they say in a deal that will bring James Wan back in touch with the mega horror IP he created, they're hearing from several sources that Blumhouse has acquired the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures' portion of the Saw franchise. In short, Blumhouse essentially is taking over the IP's ownership from Twisted's Mark Berg and Oren Kools, which those are the two I was telling y'all that apparently they're not getting along. So there's some drama going on with that. Lionsgate will continue to be involved as a partner and, in fact, owns 50% of the franchise. Now, as of this time, there isn't development on another movie yet. Wan directed the first Saw movie in 2004 and co-wrote it with Lee Winnell, who Lee actually starred in the first Saw movie. Wan remained an EP on remaining Saw movies. Now, for those who are not familiar, Saw follows a notorious killer, John Jigsaw Kramer, and his cronies. Instead of killing his victims, he traps them in life-threatening tests and games as they try to survive through physical or psychological torture. The Saw franchise not only grossed over $1 billion at the global box office from 10 movies, but spawned comic books, video games, theme park attraction. I didn't even know they had a theme park attraction. Toys, masks, and clothing. The first Saw movie opened at $18.6 million and made $56 million domestic, $104 million worldwide. So we were talking about that. Oh, so here's the information. So they said there was a Saw 11 in development that was previously scheduled for September 2025. However, the project was stalled. Lionsgate and the franchise producers didn't see eye to eye on the 11th movie, which is pretty much what I told y'all, but I just didn't remember exactly when they're supposed to start. I think they were supposed to start. Okay, now I got it. They were supposed to start shooting it last year. It was supposed to come out this year in around September of this year. But then because of the infighting and the producers weren't really getting along and didn't like, I guess, whatever direction they wanted to take the film, that's why it stalled. So in a way, I'm actually glad that Blumhouse has stepped up and taken over the franchise, especially because James Wan created the franchise. So with that being said, hopefully, even though we know, like, okay, it had a small budget, they did the whole, I love the first Saw and everything that entails with that whole situation, but Saw has become something way more sinister since they kind of stepped aside and weren't really like directing, writing, all other stuff. Like I said, James Wan stayed on as a producer, so I'm hoping that with him, with the rights going back to them over there at Blumhouse, because James Wan is there, that he will basically keep the overall core, the tone, all other stuff of those movies. Now the question remains, will John Kramer be coming back? I've always said that the problem with this franchise, and I really feel like what caused them to shoot themselves in the foot, was that y'all gave John Kramer terminal cancer. I kind of wish I would have just had this whole idea of like, John has cancer. He was taken advantage of by the medical industry. And then that caught, and he was then using, having kind of like the whole idea behind, like with Saw 10. It was like, I came in, these people said they were going to help get this cancer thing out of me with this holistic type of situation. Only thing was, I got conned by these people. So me getting conned, I actually sought revenge on these people that took advantage of me in my most weakest of moments. So if they kind of played up that whole tone and been like, you know what, actually, you're cancer free or it's in remission, whatever you want to say, they could have kept it going with him, just like giving the opportunity to people to like him going and kind of being like a vigilante of sorts. I feel like that they could have kept that going. But I guess a lot of times when it comes to these movies, people just want to tell one little story and hope the story gets told and gets made. Then I'm thinking about, I'm going to be doing 25 sequels down the road. So I totally get why it was like they didn't have that whole idea. But I guess as a writer, you always try to leave little avenues open so that way you can kind of go down different roads and have different type of possibilities. But yeah, he's come up with other different characters and none of them are really stuck except for, it was like John and Amanda. Those are like the two that I think mostly everybody likes. Y'all tried the whole thing with Costas Mandalore. He wasn't really doing it for me in regards of being the villain and all the other, like the new Jigsaw and stuff. It wasn't really working. But and we got to also think that the actor that plays John, he's old. He's like in his 80s. So how long he gonna be able to play this part? And God forbid, at another point where it's just like y'all ready to move on from this character, how are y'all gonna keep the story going? So I think these are the things that they just gonna have to figure out. I'm actually, Saw 10 was pretty good. Here's hoping that, okay, now that y'all gonna get Saw 11 up and running, who knows when that's gonna happen, that the movie won't suck. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing with this movie, with Saw 11. They also wanted to say the scribes, Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, turned in a draft in 2024 with Saw X director Kevin Bruder attached to direct. And yeah, so they were going to bring the same director back. So hopefully what they'll do is they'll just, now that, they're, we'll say rumored to be, even though the major trades are covering it, now that they're going to be moving over to Blumhouse, that they will revisit the same script. And if they want to spruce it up a little bit, add a little extra something, or like do a whole new draft and stuff, then we'll see what they do with that. But in the meantime, I will keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops, but that's the latest news on this new Saw movie. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Are you guys excited that we're going to be getting a new Saw movie now that they're going to be picked up by Blumhouse, which I think is a really good home for it. I just hope that the movie doesn't suck. Because like I said before, a lot of the Blumhouse movies really haven't been moving it. They haven't really moved me, and I am a huge horror fanatic. So I haven't really liked a lot of the movies that's come out of there, but I've got high hopes for like Black Phone 2 because I love Black Phone, and I'll go see, out of curiosity, I will go see Megan 2.0. But for the most part, y'all really need to step y'all pussy up over there in regards of content on the horror front. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Okay, so Robert says, so Republicans are worried that their civil war is destroying their. They never had an America First vision. This is all Project 2025. I'm sorry, but I'm living for the fact that the girls are fighting, the misshapen girls, I should say. And the misshapen girls, of course, would be Donald Trump and Elon Musk. The fact that they on social media fighting, Elon is spilling tea, which I'm like, sir, you're not telling us anything we don't already know. We know that he's on the Epstein's list. We know that, all these other things that you've been claiming, and the fact that you helped him steal the election, you helped him win Pennsylvania, that the ballot machines that were being used were from you. Like, we know all of this stuff. I'm just glad you out here spilling tea and confirming that your part in it, and the fact that you gave the man 200, damn near I don't know the exact number. I think it was like 280. We'll say close to 300 million. We know that you gave the man damn near $300 million so that way you could slither your ugly ass, your ketamine doped up ass, and ecstasy doped up ass into the White House so that way you can have your little Doge situation so you can go in and dismantle all the companies that were looking into your businesses. I just saw a story that he has this XAI situation, and he built like this because he wants to compete with Google and these other places that have like the AI and all this other stuff. So he has built this factory where he's using these batteries that's literally killing people out in Nashville. What is it? Memphis, Tennessee. I almost said Nashville, but it was Memphis, Tennessee, which is a predominant area where Black people live. But of course, we already know this. If you know the history of the Tuskegee Airmen and all this other stuff, you know that historically they have always used people of color and poor people as guinea pigs to do whatever the dirt that they be doing. So yeah, he built like these things out there, and the battery power and everything is so much that they said it could light up a whole damn city on its own. And the smell is literally affecting people. People are getting cancer. People are getting, I forget all the other, what type of, well, I'll just say respiratory disease, because that's the safer way of putting it. I can't remember the specific name of it. I think it was COPD, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, now people are out there with respiratory issues. People are getting, and he's killing people. So Elon need to be under the jail. Him and the current president of the United States. And if these Democrats, and you know what's another thing that's pissing me off too? I'm hearing some of you fucking Democrats. See, now I'm cussing already. It's not even 20 minutes in the damn show. You Democrats are about, oh yeah, now we need to get Elon on our side. No, the fuck we don't. We do not need to get him on our side. First of all, just no, spill the tea. We living for the tea. Tell on yourself, spill the tea, put it all out there. But no, he don't get to come up. We don't get to just bring him in and with open arms like he wasn't doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he didn't help this man steal the election. Like we're not going to do all of that because now the girls is fighting. Now we want to invite him back to the cookout. Hell no. No, he's still a vile piece of crap. But still spill because we living for the, we live for the tea. And the funny thing is it me or, and I've been saying this for the longest, it's funny how y'all always coming after the gays, right? But I have noticed straight men gossip more than gay people do. Y'all be out here fighting on social media, running off with your damn mouth, always got something to say, always up in people's business, more so than homosexuals. What's up with that? Why straight people see, and now it got me wondering about y'all sexuality, because I'm sitting there like, y'all always coming for the gays, but y'all be the ones out here all up in our business, or gossiping like a bunch of damn bitches. So, wait, what? Wait, I didn't even finish reading your thing. I just went on a rant. The minute I saw Trump, it was just like, what's that? Like a sleeper cell? Like I saw a word and it just activated me. Trump getting distracted by it all, costing them midterms. Well, first of all, a lot of the appointees never get put in because everybody tries to be like the president. But Trump is anomaly. He's an anomaly. He can only do what he does. Everybody tries to do what they do, but people can see. It's funny how they can see through their what they do. You know what that reminds me of? Remember Gina Torres when she was in? I forget her character name, but remember when she was on Angel and she was like this deity or whatever, and everybody was seeing her as like this beautiful woman or whatever. And I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it might have been Fred that truly saw her for who she was, and she had all these worms and stuff on her face, and she looked gross. So that's kind of like what this reminds me of. Like everybody is so smitten and can't see through the bullshit, except some of us. And those of us who see through it, they try to come after him. So if we lose the house, we might not get back in. This is perfect ammo. Well, we'll say, look, that's what I said. This is the perfect time for them to jump in. Oh, I'm living for the girls out here being messy and fighting. Happy Messy Gay Divorce Day. During Pride Month, look, the heterosexuals out here fighting during Pride Month. And you think it would have been us. But we all knew it was coming. We just didn't know when it was coming. We didn't know it was coming this quick. I know it's going to take 6 months for the two to get a divorce. I would like it if they remade the Harmony. Question. Isn't Puppet... Excuse me. I was eating a burger before I went live. I'm going to spit out food. Isn't Puppet Master like the same as Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Isn't that kind of like the same story? I mean, we could definitely use Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake during this administration. Or during this period. Jason Blum leaves the kids behind. Horror not. No, it's not. But then again, I've always heard this argument that they say just because a movie is PG-13, or just because I won't say that, just because the movie is rated R does not mean it's gonna necessarily be good. Like people always think with certain films, oh, it has to be rated R because you could do blood and gore and all the other stuff. But I'm like, there's movies that are made to be rated R and they're trash. So it doesn't matter. I don't think the grade matters. If you could tell a good story, because I've seen some PG-13 horror flicks that are pretty good, but it usually feels like when it's PG-13 that they water it down. Not Elon Munch. Even Kyle said, don't fucking think about it. You embrace him. We're not going to be here for you. Exactly. That's why I'm like, we are not, you're not coming back to the cookout. You already sold out the people. You were mad because, at one point, the Democrats embraced him. Didn't I tell y'all that Barack Obama gave him money during his administration, like to help his businesses and stuff? So this has been going on for a long time. It's funny how like Trump wants to blame Biden, but if he was actually smart, he can go back further. And it was during the Obama administration that Elon was getting a lot of these little incentives from our government, so that way he could start up his companies and all that other mess. And he gets $8 million a day from the current administration of our taxpaying dollars to run around here doing apps or blowing up freaking missiles or what are the little space shuttles. None of them have been successful. And that's another thing too. What I was telling you about the whole thing in Memphis is because you want to do rush jobs. So he wants to with the Doge thing, he wanted to cut out all the middlemen to stop them from going and investigating him, because he wanted to do a rush job. He didn't want to take the time and go, have to dot every I and cross every T and go through all the red tape, so that way all the protocols are put in place. He wants to get stuff done by any means necessary. He don't care who gets hurt in the process, which is why a lot of his stuff fails. I've always told y'all that there's so many other cars that are better than Tesla, but they won't sell them in the United States. They want y'all to buy his crappy ass tanks. But if you go outside of the United States, they have better, environmentally safe vehicles than what you're getting with the Tesla. And it's funny how people hate Elon to the point where you have some Teslas that put stickers on their thing. It was like, please don't damage my vehicle. Like I had a Tesla before Elon went, mental or whatever the case is. So, okay. Don't I know it? Ooh, excuse me. My nose. Child, it was damn near 90 degrees in New York today. I could not with this weather. But anyway, enough of that mess. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep abreast of this story as well, because I know he probably still going off on social media about Trump and saying that, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have won Pennsylvania, and Trump's threatening to cut off money for Elon's businesses. And I'm like, don't do Don't threaten us with a good time, bitch. Do it. Like, shoot, keep us entertained. I'll have my popcorn and my tea. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. And let's talk about Ready or Not 2. So they officially wrapped Ready or Not 2 today. A couple of hours ago, actually. So, and I remember a couple of weeks ago, Sarah Michelle Gellar said she had just wrapped. I think when she did an interview, I forget which she was. I think she was doing a couple of interviews. It was her and Allison Hannigan. And she revealed they were trying to get some tea out of her in regards to the movie. And she was like, I can't even tell you my name. And she was like, I just finished rapping. Like, I think it was like maybe 24 hours or 48 hours before she did her interview. But today, officially a couple of hours ago, they did announce on their Instagram, as I pulled that photo up, that Ready or Not 2, wait, I'm going to the wrong thing, Cher. That Ready or Not 2 is complete. And I guess they're going to be going in post. And not only that, but we actually got a release date on when we'll be getting it. So the sequel to the, excuse me, the 2019 Cold Horror movie, which grossed $57 million, has the radio silence directing team of Matt Bettinelli. I don't know how I just stumbled on that name. Open, and Tyler Gillett returning with a screenplay from Guy Busick and R. Christopher Murphy. Now, Trip Vincent, James Vanderbilt, Bradley J. Fisher, and William Chirac are producing. Speaking of James Vanderbilt, I was actually, because he's had a hand behind the Scream scripts in 5 and 6. And I think he came up with the story for 7. I was like watching a movie the other day that was written by James Vanderbilt, White House Down, the movie with Channing Tatum protecting the president, Jamie Foxx. I was watching that the other day and I'm like, the movie started out, I feel like that movie, you can definitely tell when I watched it that it went through it like an extensive rewrite, because it started out good halfway, and then halfway, then they started doing some comedy stuff. It was like, why is Jamie Foxx trying to do like a really bad Barack Obama impression? And then number 2, then they had him in his Jordans running around the White House. And then it was like they were trying to do comedies. I was like, now it's like trying to turn into this buddy comedy. Like, I don't know. The tone was just all over the place, which pretty much describes James Vanderbilt as a writer anyway, because the scripts was all over the place for Scream 5 and 6. Hence why I don't particularly care for those movies. But then the story goes on to say, Deadline, shout out to them. As we told you before, the cast includes a mix of old and new guard. So Samara Weaving is coming back. Catherine Newton, who has been in a couple of movies from Radio Silence. Most recently, she was in Abigail, which she was pretty good in. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, as I mentioned. Sean Hannity, who y'all probably remember from the show what is it? Was it called Kingdom? No, Kingdom was the one with Nick Jonas. Animal Kingdom was the show that he was on. I saw that Netflix just added that whole series to that thing. I might give that a rewatch, because at a certain point I stopped watching it. So I might jump back in now that the whole series is available on Netflix. But Sean Hannity was also in The Faculty, one of my favorite movies growing up. Nestor Cabanel, Kevin Durant, Olivia Chang, David Cronenberg, and Elijah Wood. Now, while the sequel storyline is being kept secret, the first movie revolved around a bride's wedding night, which takes a sinister turn when her eccentric new in-laws force her to take part in a terrifying game. So, and I like that whole concept, and the fact that it was like, yeah, if we don't do what we need to do with this whole game, then it's like, yeah, we have to serve this demon or god or whatever the hell it was, and then they'll say that they'll die. And then they thought that it was some BS because they've always played the game, so they never knew what was going to happen. Then kind of find out they wasn't bullshitting at all. Like, it literally was this demonic thing that they were serving. And I guess that's probably how they got the money and the power, and how their family legacy became what it is. So, and that movie could have just stood on its own as a solid little movie. But because Samara Weaving is the only member of the family that's left, simply because she was the only one that survived, because she was the bride, and I think she survived the game, it'll be interesting to see where they take her character with this film. Because, yeah, like, now that you are, technically you are married into the family, does she get the money? Does she have to keep the game going? Is there some new rule? These other characters that I mentioned that are in the film, are they members of the family, but are like, the patriarch of the family is it like this is the family of his brother or sister or whatever? Like, I don't know necessarily the whole extension of the situation. So we'll just, I guess, have to find out where they're planning on taking the franchise when it drops on April 10th of 2026. So that is the actual date that the movie will be coming out. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I was a fan of the first Ready or Not movie. And now we have Ready or Not, Here I Come. And you bitches ain't going to be able to hide when it comes out next year. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you excited to hear in horror movie news that Ready or Not 2 has been set for a April 2026 release, which is interesting because if we're thinking about it, that's Scream 7, sorry. Speaking of Scream, it's supposed to be coming out in February. I'm hoping and praying they still move it up to like October of this year. But Scream 6, I mean, shit, why am I calling it Scream 6 again? Scream 7 is supposed to be coming out in February. And then 2 months later, we're getting Ready or Not, Here I Come. So it's going to be lit in the horror movie front. Just hope the movie doesn't suck. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said we've been getting a lot of rain. Oh, that's fine. Well, look, I'm glad y'all got the rain. But then again, it's Florida. Y'all always getting rain. But I'm glad y'all getting the rain and not us because it's been raining on us a lot lately. And so it was nice for once to get some sun. I ain't like the humidity. And the fact that that sun was beaming. But yeah, it was hot in New York City. But it was good to get that weather. I think yesterday was hot too. But yes, during the Post Malone concert yesterday, I was in good hands because that air was hitting me lovely. So I didn't have to worry about being out in the sun like everybody else. He said, I'm right with you. That pisses me off that a time a line Republican saying something true, they stupid. Well, Democrats. Child, don't get me started with them and dumb stuff that they do. And don't even get me started on that old Queen, Richie Torres, laughing at the fact that Palestinians is being killed. That old Zionist, somebody to get rid of his ass. He said, today is a good day to be a fan of the late 90s. Any thoughts of the rumored Janet and Kylie collab? I didn't hear about that. But, if we get a Janet and Kylie collab before we get a Madonna and Kylie collab, I'm gonna be tight. And that's because the Madonna Kylie collab, the Madonna Kylie collab is something that we've been clamoring for decades. But she can't fix herself. Don't even get me started on Madonna because I'm gonna windmill on her ass in a minute with this whole announcement of Veronica Electronica and all of that stuff. So you know what? I'm gonna save mine for that segment when we get to it. Which, speaking of which, let's get to it. So let's talk about Madonna. So apparently, the Queen of Pop announced today that, she's finally, after damn near almost 30 freaking years, she's giving the gays, aka the majority of her fans, what we want. And apparently, she's giving us Veronica Electronica. Now, I remember back in the day when, and because I watched this recently. It's funny enough we're talking about this. She did a video, like it was the MTV interview where Kurt Loder went and visited her while she was recording Ray of Light. And she started touring around. She was like, I might do a remix album, and I'm thinking about calling it Veronica Electronica, which we were like, is perfect because for those of you who don't know, if you're outside of the Madonna bubble, her name is Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone. So Veronica is one of her, I was going to say middle, but she's kind of like the Latinos. They be having like 29 damn names in their situation. So it's just like, but she's Italian. We don't know this. But it was like Veronica, it was a play on her name. And it was like, that's a clever thing to call the record. And we were expecting because of the direction that she went into where, she took like these electronic elements and then put like these deeply spiritual, situations into the lyrics and the music and all this stuff, which why it was so perfect that she chose someone like a William Orbit to produce that album. And the album came out in 98, right? So yeah, even decades later, that record has inspired so many artists. Like when you listen to FKA Twigs' Eusexual, that album you could definitely tell is heavily influenced. I've heard some people say Addison Rae was influenced as well. I don't know. I don't listen to Addison Rae. Addison Rae to me is kind of like Vincent Boone. Y'all trying to make fetch happen. I can't get into her. You're like, y'all trying to force her down my throat. I just be like Like I'll be just like that with it. Like, stop trying to push this chick on me. I don't want it. So I just be fighting. Knuck if you bug, bitch. So yeah, I just be kind of like fighting the feeling and all this other stuff. So, but yeah, she has her, the sound, it has still influenced a lot of people to this day. And so now it's just like, and then we've been hearing that she's been in the studio working with Stuart Price on a new album. Now we're getting this news. And then wasn't there something else supposed to be coming out regarding the oh my god, what is that album? The album that can't not why am I drawing a damn blank and I see it in my freaking head? The bedtime stories. Thank you, brain, for finally waking up. During the weren't we supposed to be getting something based off that bedtime stories era, like some EPs, remixes, something or another. Like I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, quite as it's kept with Madonna and a lot of the decisions she's making. But sis, I need you to get it together. Stop riding your little 20-some-year-old boyfriend. Get back to work and give the gays what we want, which is some new damn music. I'm not saying you got to be out here killing yourself because you've given a lot of us, a lot of yourself to us fans. But I feel like that she takes her fans for granted. You should be out here like my girl Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is about to drop a new album. She's dropping remixes. She's dropping all these little things. And you still just twiddling your thumbs, going out, hanging out on a vacation and partying, which is fine because you should be able to do that. Like you worked your behind off. You almost died. And then you still got up and went on tour because you didn't want to lose all that money and pay all that stuff back. But nevertheless, I'm glad that you went back out on tour. You did what you need to do. But when it comes down to the whole situation, it's just like, why are we getting this album so many decades later? And do the fans really want it? Because now, let's get into the story before I continue to go off. So it says the 8-track LP will be released digitally and on silver vinyl on July 25th. The album was previewed on Thursday with the glitchy, thumping, deep cut Skim, the collaboration remix edit. And I listened to the song earlier. I'm like, wait a minute, I own this song. Because number one, I told y'all back in the day, Kris used to live in Virgin Megastore. So anytime one of my favorite artists, be it a Madonna, a Kylie Minogue, a Bjork, whoever, dropped an album, an import, a maxi single, Kris was up in Virgin Megastore buying all that stuff up. Y'all would gag to find out how much money I would spend on physical media back in those days. Because we didn't have digital and all this other stuff. So yeah, I was always up in there buying all this stuff. So I'm wondering, because I don't really know all the titles and all stuff off the top of my head, but I have a strange feeling when I listen to this LP, a lot of the songs that's going to be on there, I'm probably going to be like, I have these songs. You just dug into the archives and just compiled it into a situation. But what we was hoping to get is that, with the success of Ray of Light, that you would have been able to release a remix album of like whoever the DJs was at the time that had remixed your stuff. But yeah, in those days, it was all about the maxi single. Now it's not so much because people could pretty much create their own playlists, which is why we don't have like now that's what I call whatever. Because back in the day, they used to compile like compilations and all other stuff. You don't have to do that anymore because Apple Music, Spotify, they do all that for you. So they said the album will also be available as part of the Silver Collection, her ongoing career spanning series of limited edition silver vinyl reissues. And they said it's part of the singer's 2021 deal with Warner Music that saw her catalog returning to the company that released her first albums. An 8-track companion to Ray of Light, Veronica Electronica, was originally envisioned by Madonna as a remix album in 1998. The project was ultimately sidelined by the original album's long string of hit singles. Ray of Light went on to sell more than 16 million copies worldwide and earned Madonna 4 Grammy Awards, including Best Pop Album. So yeah, that's why we never got it, because it was like, it was the original album's long string of hit singles. Because what did she release? It was Frozen, which was something that we never saw before. I remember the first time remember back in the day when MTV, they would preview, like they would give you like a little teaser of the music video and it goes like premieres this week at this time or whatever. And I remember they showed a clip and they like hyped it up and everything of Frozen. And when they show her when your heart's not open and she falls back and turns into the crows, I was like, bitch, what is that? We all gagged. And it was like something we never saw before. And then it was like, we got Ray of Light. Then we got Nothing Really Matters. And then we got The Power of Goodbye. So it was like a lot of great singles that came from that record. But I guess because the album was so successful that they just felt, oh, and then we also got Drown World Substitute for Love. I forgot that was a music video too. So I guess with them dealing with all that, they felt like, you know what, because these songs are so damn successful, we don't need to drop a remix album. But I'm trying to remember, because I can't think off the top of my head. Back in those days, when it came down to it, I don't think people were releasing a lot of remix albums. I mean, one of the things I've always loved about Mariah Carey is that whenever she would do like a David Morales house remix of her songs like Dream Lover and stuff, she would go in the studio and re-record her vocals over the house beat. So that was one of the things I loved about Mariah Carey. And I was glad that she was able to kind of do all of that and stuff. So I'm glad that we're getting, in a way that we're getting this remix album. But I feel like it's a little too late. But I do want to know what the hell's going on with the new album. Like, what's happening with that? And I don't think you need to go out on tour right now. Save it for 2026. But I want to know what's going on with that. But now it also says the album's title is in itself a throwback, as Electronica was a loosely defined late 90s musical genre of hard-hitting electronic dance music defined by Prodigy, Moby, Underworld, Fatboy Slim, and occasionally stretched to artists like Bjork and Daft Punk. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because they call it electronica. When you look at artists like Fatboy Slim and Moby, they were kind of like more big beat. I mean, Moby did do like this euphoric, ethereal type of vibe. Bjork always played around with her different styles and sounds. Daft Punk was more like, well, Daft Punk did dabble into different genres, but their stuff more or less was like French electronic music or French house music and that sort of thing. So I know I'm being real specific because it was like different types of genres and stuff they were going into. And then Prodigy was more like, I mean, they dove into a different vibe of sounds and stuff, but Prodigy was more like raving. They were like ravers. So their music kind of played into the whole rave culture. Underworld too. And Fatboy Slim, yeah, he was kind of like what they would call big beat. So optimistically, they said, considered a successor to the multi-platinum alternative wave, the trend, if it ever really was one, quickly petered out with the end of the decade and the millennium. So do y'all feel that with them talking about this, that Madonna is a little late with, oh, well, like Veronica, electronica music, it feels a little dated? Because it says that the album will feature newly edited versions of club remixes by one of my favorite DJs, may he rest in peace, Peter Rohofer. I'm so glad that I have a lot of DJ friends that still play Peter Rohofer's remixes. I'm one of the things I was so upset about was that I was way too young to go to a lot of the parties that Peter Rohofer was spinning and stuff at. A lot of my older friends were able to go, and they would tell me stories about going to, oh, it's the Rohofer, so we got to go out and we got to go party and all that other stuff. So I had a lot of those older friends that would spill the tea and tell me about that stuff, because I have a lot of a lot of club heads that I'm friends with. So I was a little upset that I wasn't old enough to be able to go to the Peter Rohofer parties. But anyway, or the parties that he was spinning at. But he passed away, so. But I do love the fact that I have friends who are DJs that still spin a lot of his things. And I think they still do like Peter Rohofer's tribute parties and stuff. But anyway, so we have Peter Rohofer, William Orbit, Sasha, BT, and Victor Calderone. He's another one that's iconic that I live for, Victor Calderone. I used to listen to a lot of BT too. And shout out to NSYNC, because once upon a time, they actually, I gagged when they actually reached out to BT and had him produce their stuff for them. He produced Dirty Pop. So, and they said, along with the original demo of Gone, 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 a previously unreleased recording produced by Madonna and Rick Knowles. So at least we get one new song that we've never heard. But yeah, so we have, it's 8 songs, 4 on each side. So it's like a side A is 4 tracks, side B's got 4 tracks, with side A has Drown World Substitute for Love, which is the BT and Sasha Buck Lodge Ashram new edit. Then they have Ray of Light, the Sasha Twilo mix. Oh my God, I miss Twilo. Skin, the collaboration, a remix edit, and Nothing Really Matters. The club, oh my God, Club 69. Oh my God, you're taking me back. Club 69 speed mix meets the dub. And then on side B, they have Sky Fits Heaven, which is the Victor Calderon Future, New Edit, Frozen, the widescreen mix and drums, The Power of Goodbye, Fabian's Good God Mix Edit, and Gone Gone Gone, which is the original demo version. So, as a Madonna fan, I will listen to the record because it's the Queen of Pops, and I live for the electronic and the dance music and all this. So that is my wheelhouse. That's a genre I mostly listen to out of many of the genres of music. So I'm really looking forward to hearing it. But I hope that this is the prelude for something a little more iconic, something new, and Madonna with whatever she's working on with Stuart Price, that it's gonna take dance music into the next level. Because look, people still use Ray of Light as a blueprint for the bleeps and the sonic stuff, and that album still influences people. I can't tell you how many people said like that Confessions on the Dance Floor is their favorite Madonna album, where I know people who were introduced and became a Madonna fan because of Confessions, not all her earlier stuff, but when Confessions came around, they was like, oh, I became a fan. I had a roommate that told me that he moved to New York because of Madonna and that album, because of I Love New York. when she came up with that song I Love New York, and was talking about like that whole vibe of Confessions is why he moved to New York from Indiana. So that's all I got to say on that. But I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you excited for this Veronica Electronica album to be coming out? Oh yeah, and I heard also, friend to the show Onyx was telling me that Janet is working with Kylie Minogue, possibly on a new song, because Janet did visit Kylie, I think, at the O2, because she's got a big residency. That's basically what it is. Like, if you're doing like 12 shows, sis, is a residency. So she's doing the O2 out in London. She's got a lot of shows happening over there. Janet went to go see her, and now the rumors are swirling on Twitter. We'll take it with a grain of salt, but the rumors are swirling that Janet and Kylie might collaborate on a song. And I said, with all of this back and forth with Madonna and Kylie, them wearing each other's t-shirts, I don't know if Madonna's actually going to see the Tension tour. Sis, you need to, because that tour is everything. I've told you, I've seen it twice already. And Kylie actually coming out on stage during Madonna's celebration tour, that if we get a Janet and Kylie collab before we get a Madonna and Kylie collab, there will be a riot, because sis, that is the collab we've been wanting for the longest. And if Janet gets one over on you, and it's no shade of Janet, but I'm just saying, like, it would be more favorable. I mean, I think people will go, if it's a good song, people will take it in because it's two icons coming together. But if we don't get a Madonna and Kylie collaboration, that is full on homosexual blasphemy. So I definitely want to hear from y'all in regards to the Veronica Electronica story and the Kylie Janet collab. What y'all think about that? Because I'll be like, yeah, there will be a full on homosexual riot, especially if that news come out during Pride Month. You done lost every bit of your mind. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So let me close this window. Let's get to what the people are saying, because I know this story is going to get a lot of comments. You said devil's advocate, it's fair because of Madonna and Britney. Oh, are you saying that because what Lizzo wide ass had to say about Britney trying to be Janet? Was that the dagger you just threw? So you said Warner only canceled it because the album sales came unexpected. They didn't want to compete with two different oh, okay. So hold on. Why is my thing not moving? Okay. She said Veronica was the name she took when she had her confirmation dinner when she was a little. Oh, so Veronica's not a part of that name. So what is it? Madonna Louise Ciccone? Because it's like, yeah, when you have when you are Catholic, there's a name that you have to choose, or they choose for you, whatever. When you do like a whole confirmation situation, so you get like a saint name or whatever. And I guess she has Veronica. Mine is Martin. So that's what you do when you get confirmed. So I'm wondering, like, okay, so that's the name that she took. So that's not even on her government. And we have the Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone podcast. I wonder if they're going to go live and talk about that. I wouldn't be surprised if they go live tonight and talk about that. Oh, it was the Bedtime Stories EP. Okay. He said, I guess Shep Pettibone wanted more money because he needs, I mean, look, fine, you got to get paid any way you can. Addison Rae's album drops tonight, and I'm listening to it at midnight. A lot of people criticize her authenticity because she's a pretty girl who was once a cheerleader and makes look. They could say the same damn thing about Tate McRae, right? But I'll check it out. I'll listen to it. Digital release is next Friday. Vinyl is July 25th. I wonder what made her want to drop it now instead of on it. Child, was you in the group chat? Because that is a conversation that in the Rebel Hearts group chat, they said that was literally what was said. I was like, why are you dropping it now? You should have dropped that during the 25th anniversary. That would have made more sense. Or was it that, because what was the date that they said? I mean, when it was like Madonna got back in the good graces of Warner Brothers. So probably it wasn't around that time when it happened, hence why she probably couldn't do it then. But at that point, I would have just waited to the 30th anniversary and released it. If you really want to do a something big on a number, she should have released it for the 25th anniversary of Ray of Light or before the Celebration tour. It's the contract for the reissues. Michael did call it that it would start when her Universal catalog joined the Warner catalogs. He said, I wish she had gone with the original idea, remixing all the songs on the album. That's what I was thinking. Like, you could have came out with a remix album. Like, I'm thinking a full-fledged remix album. Like, you go in, you have somebody come in, they remix the songs, and then I would have just been like, okay, bring in, well, I don't think, oh yeah, I think she was working with Stuart Price at the time. I would have just been like, work with Stuart Price, have him kind of like produce it, meaning like you steer the ship, you are the captain of the ship, you figure out how to stitch all these songs together, kind of like how the ebbs and the flows of how it feels like a DJ set with Confessions. If they could have found a way to do it kind of like that, I think that would have been dope if they would have came out with Veronica Electronica and worked and actually put it together like a remix album. The remix album became a craze in the early 90s thanks to You Could Dance. I had Paula Abdul. Excuse me. I love me some Jody Watley. Jody Watley, Bobby Brown did one. Prince did a remix EP. Okay. Salt and Pepper is great too. Bjork had a remix album. Oh yeah, I have Telegram. Oh please. Once I became obsessed with Bjork, I bought up all the stuff that she was doing. And how I became introduced to Bjork was the Chris Cunningham music video for All Is Full of Love. I'm like, who is this chick and what is going on? After I saw that video, I just fell in love with Bjork and started buying up all her stuff. And that's when I listened to Debut, Post, and Homogenic and all that other stuff. And I was just following that whole situation. Medulla, following all those albums ever since. I love Medulla. Because that's when she was working with Matmos. And that's when she had it was written in hair. Which is kind of like I've seen Missy Elliott did something like that too, where she wrote her name in hair. The demo for Gone Gone leaked into, oh, damn. I remember Revenge. Like a Flower was a good song too. I kind of wish she would take all those songs and kind of just redo them. I would have loved if she added more unreleased track. Yeah, I agree. I have Has to Be. Is a Japanese bonus track and isn't on streaming. Yeah. And I bought the import because that song was on there. Because I bought the regular album and then I bought the one that has to be on it because it was like, oh, it's got extra songs. So I had to have everything. I didn't care about how much things cost. I just went and it was just like, oh, well, this song is over on this version. Okay, I'm about the album again just because I want to have that song. But I like it Has to Be. It should have been added to the record. But it felt like a nighttime prayer before you go to sleep. Like a prayer. It felt like a prayer. Yes, pun intended. There was a station in Miami that played Revenge on the radio and were saying it was a new song. They played it just before Die Another Day came out. I wonder if her people went windmilled on that station because that wasn't a new song. It was a leaked demo. I would listen to I Love New York a few hours ago and see, now you would have been my roommate, and then you imagine your life, and then he imagined to the point where he packed his shit and moved to New York and ain't left since, and been here since. A lot of people are expecting the Janet and Kylie collab to sound similar to the Body Language era. Justice for Body Language. We have to really give justice for Body Language. First of all, I love that record. It was like she stuck to the electronic stuff, but I like the fact that she experimented and went more into like her interpretation of R&B I think that was her way of trying to cross over into the American market. But I just felt like they screwed her because they were picking the wrong damn singles. There's so many good damn songs on that record. And I like how she was experimenting with her voice and stuff too. So I like Body Language. Here's that Warner is really shitty. Their Y Into the Groove wasn't a single in the US. Crazy for You almost didn't happen because Madonna was too big in 1985. They didn't want overexposure. Onyx Has to Be is on Ray of Light remix EP. Yeah, that's what I got it from the remix EP. Because I told you I was out here buying EPs. I was out here buying the EPs, or as they would call it, maxi singles, where it was like, you get songs and then they put a bonus track and stuff on it. But yeah, I was buying. See, Arioso was another unreleased track that could have been included. That was a good song. Oh, look at Sailor Mermaid coming in the building late as usual. Child, y'all heard? Yes, daughter. We was talking about that earlier in the show. The big girls is fighting. Well, I call them the misshapen ones. My favorite Kylie album is always changing, but it's always between Impossible Princess and Violet. But it's like her most underrated stuff, and especially Impossible Princess. That's why she decided to stick to the rivers and the lakes, because she really stepped outside of her comfort zone with Impossible Princess. Like, was giving you full on like something completely out of the box, and people didn't want it. And so that's why she retreated back and just gave the gays what they wanted. But I like the fact that even when she does give us what she wants, maybe there's like a deal, like sometimes with movies where some people are like, I'll do the mainstream big blockbuster film in exchange for you to let me do this small little indie that gives me, that allows me to stretch outside of the box. I feel like that's what Kylie too. Like, I feel like Kylie, she's like, I want to go and experiment and try different things. But if it doesn't work out, yeah, I'll jump back and I'll do the big mainstream record. Because I've noticed she's always done that. Now she's kind of like, just like, I'm going to just do the 2.5-minute dance track. And it's working. I've done all the experimenting that I needed to. Okay. All right, yeah. Let's get into this Diddy story. So we have two Diddy stories. I might just combine both of them. So one of them is the fact that Sonny appeared on the Behind the Table podcast, which, that producer over there, he loves promoting the hell out of that Behind the Table. I've never watched it, nor do I care to. But shout out to YouTube, because YouTube just started adding, because I've always wanted to see the Weekend View. And YouTube finally started adding the Weekend View on the Views channel. And so I've been able to watch it. And it's like, without commercials, because I think it's 30 minutes, but without commercials, it's like 22 minutes or something or another. But nevertheless, I've been enjoying it because now they get more into like pop culture stuff. They're not talking too much about Donald Trump and politics and things. So it seems like the ladies are having a lot more fun. If Whoopi was doing it, she'd be bored out of her damn mind. She always looks disinterested. But anyway, so on the Behind the Table podcast, which is where a lot of the View women actually go and they do like a little podcast and talk about stuff. And sometimes they'll have celebrities that'll come on it and do the show as well. Brian Tedder is the producer, by the way, who's always trying to promote the hell out of that damn podcast. But anyway, so Sonny appeared on the podcast and revealed that when she went into the courtroom, the diddler recognized her and gave her the stare down, kind of like the way he was staring down the jury today. And to the point where the judge threatened to remove him, for which they felt like was interference in the case, because it's like, why are you over there trying to give the eye fucking the audience? Or not the audience, but the jury. Why are you over there giving looks and things? So I wonder if he was staring and giving him the look, the glare, the stare down of intimidation, like he did Sonny Hostin. But we'll get into that story in a minute. But let's get through this one first. So the 56-year-old former federal prosecutor, who has sat in on the diddler's proceedings since the rapper's high-profile sex trafficking trial began on May 5th in NYC, recalled a jarring moment she shared with Combs as the day unfolded. She said he's very engaged. This is what, she said while observing his behavior in the room after he was accused of interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution and more. The entertainer has pleaded not guilty to charges, of course, because everybody who's guilty of some stuff is always going to go with not guilty. Then they're going to admit that they did any wrongdoing. So she said, I know him. He was staring at me one day, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I spoke to his mother very briefly in the bathroom. I'm watching the jurors because they're taking this in. Why would you talk to Janice? Did you give her some advice on how to pick out a good wig while y'all was in the bathroom together? But why you up in there talking to her? And I do wonder if she probably whispered like, Sonny from the views in here. But he probably recognized her because she always walking around with that damn high ponytail she always got. Hence like the one she got in this picture. Now, Hostin, also a lawyer who worked her way through the legal circuit after first serving as a law clerk in Maryland, admitted that she feels, quote, there are dream teams on both sides, end quote, of the case, including Combs' legal team fronted by crackerjack defense attorneys like Mark Agnifilo and Tony Garagos, or Tenny Garagos. She said, Tenny is Mark Garagos' daughter, my friend and famed attorney. Mark Agnifilo is not as well known as Mark Garagos, but his wife, Karen, is representing Luigi Mangione. This is what Hostin said. You've got powerhouse folks in there. It's some of the best lawyering I've seen. Now, Hostin admitted that as a result of that legal prowess, she thinks it could go either way because it's such an odd case for people to get their minds around. Yes, it feels like a damn circus. Like I told y'all the other day, there was a woman that was up in there and she was like literally screaming, oh, they're laughing at you. Like that's not what she said, but she was basically saying they was laughing at you. But I can imagine like she probably shouted like she was Carrie White's mother in the courtroom where she had to be removed. So it has become a circus. You got people outside acting a damn fool. Mom Wiggins getting into it with clout chasers because he's been covering the case. And so it's just a damn circus. This is why I said I don't want no ways tied around this foolishness because a lot of y'all are coming into New York and just acting a damn fool because y'all want some goddamn attention off the back of a man who's done some allegedly deplorable things to a lot of people for over the 3 decades he's been, bulldozing his way through the music industry. So she said that she also remembers seeing a lot of men on the jury, which gave her pause. Hostin said that some of those men might feel confused by some of the participants' testimony. She said there are going to be guys thinking, how do I know someone is consenting then? Which is what I was kind of wondering too. How do you know when someone is consenting? That is true though. Because it's like, I feel like when a person says no is when things should stop. But if we're in the middle of a situation and I'm getting sexual with someone and you don't say nothing, I always say, first of all, you don't look like Oda Mae Brown, or I don't look like Oda Mae Brown. I don't read minds. I don't hear voices. I don't have ghosts talking to me. I cannot predict the future. I'm not Miss Cleo. So closed mouths don't get fed. So if you're not saying nothing, but your body language is, or you just in your mind saying, I don't want to do this, how am I supposed to know to stop? But when you're in a situation of like the diddler, who has a lot of money, who has a lot of power, who has a lot of influence, and has been notoriously known to threaten people for not whenever he doesn't get what he wants, who throws temper tantrums, that assaults and gets violent with people, mainly so a lot of his employees who have been speaking out about him, former employees, people he's been in relationships with. The rumors surrounding that he may have had something to do with the unaliving of Kim Porter, or whatever the case is, whatever, all those alleged situations. It's like, yeah, unless you say something, then how do you know that someone is consenting? But there, it's like, if somebody says no, then that means no. No don't mean yes. If somebody says they don't want to do something, is when you stop. Now, you get mad, you got blue balls and a hard dick, go home, beat your meat, bust a nut, you'll get over it. But it's not up to you on whether or not, like, oh, I'm going to just keep going because I'm horny. Now, that's assault. So some people should know the difference between that in that situation. So they said the trial also included testimony from Cassie. Well, we already know all of that. And then his legal team might attempt to paint him. They said, given his past, Combs' legal team might attempt to paint him as a complicated, flawed man with an unconventional sex life and a DV abuser, but he's not a sex trafficker. He's not a racketeer, and he didn't transport women or men for prostitution. So you could probably say, yeah, it was transactional, but I wasn't trafficking anybody. It's like, yeah, I was getting people who actually this is their profession to come in and do a freak off at certain establishments that I was renting out, that I was holding out, whatever hotel. He might have been trafficking Cassie, but I don't know if they were during her testimony. Did they even come to that conclusion? So yeah, this might be hard to prove, or these type of situations is hard to prove in court. Now, also, I've heard, and I believe I've mentioned this here before, but there is word on the curb that the current idiot in chief is planning on pardoning the diddler. But he said he'll look into it. He's not going to be biased by the situation. When have you ever not been biased by something? But I guess if Diddy's people cut your ass a check for $1 million, I'm sure you'd pardon him in a heartbeat. But but then he implied that I don't know if I'm going to pardon Diddy, because once upon a time we were friends until I got into politics. But that seems to be the ongoing thing with a lot of people, because a lot of people always try to use the excuse, oh, but y'all was all friends with Trump before, but then he started running for office and now y'all don't like him. I'm like, yeah, you don't think politics change people? It's like when you were just regular out at the party, kikiing with the girls and being the life of the party and being in funny and entertaining. And Trump is definitely somebody who is a grade A narcissist. So he fits right in with the Hollywood folk, because you have to have a level of narcissism in order to coexist with a lot of those damn people. I'm not saying they all like that, but for the most part, a lot of them got big ass egos. You wouldn't be able to get where you are a lot of the time if you didn't have one. Like I said, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but for the most part, when you look at a lot of these elitists, they do all kind of birds of a feather flock together. So I could definitely see the possibility that A, Diddy could get off, or B, if he doesn't, that Trump will pardon him. But because he's saying oh, well, I got into politics and we kind of just kind of went our separate ways, then I don't see a possibility of a pardon happening unless he does it because it brings him something he loves, attention. Because it's no longer going to be about Diddy being free. I mean, for some point of it, it will be. But people will be talking more about him getting pardoned by Trump, like the Chrisleys, when it happened with them. Now, in other news regarding this whole situation, we should also talk about the fact that Diddy, he was, with the judge in that whole situation where the guy basically said, if you don't stop hobnobbing and brown nosing and giving eye fucks or whatever you want to call it with the people in the courtroom, the people on the jury, then we're going to have you moved out of the room. I wonder if they would put him in a separate room where you can watch it on the video, but they won't have him in there because what you're not going to be in here doing is trying to intimidate, the people that's basically got your fate in their hands. So the judge in the trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial of Diddy threatened to remove the mogul from court for looking and nodding at the jury during testimony on Thursday, which is today. Now, during the lunch break after the jury left the room on Thursday, Judge Aaron Subramanian said that he saw Combs looking at the jury and nodding vigorously during the cross-examination of Brianna Bongolan, a former graphic designer for Combs and a longtime friend of Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The judge warned Combs' lawyers that if he saw it again, it would result in the exclusion of your client from the courtroom, saying, quote, there should be no efforts whatsoever to have an interaction with this jury. Combs' lawyers said that it would not happen again. Well, unless you're going to put some big old shades on that man, because remember, the only time Diddy always had shades on when he was indoors, but now I guess because you're in the courtroom, you can't be doing that. Because we know he cockeyed or cross-eyed. Now, early on Thursday, Bongolan resumed the testimony. She began on Wednesday. Bongolan previously testified about her friendship with Cassie and described an alleged incident from 2016 in which she says that Combs dangled her from the balcony of Ventura's 17th floor apartment in Los Angeles for 10 to 15 seconds before throwing her onto some balcony furniture. She testified that the incident left her bruised and emotionally scarred and that she experiences nightmares and paranoia. Now, during cross-examination, Combs' lawyers challenged Bongolan's credibility, citing inconsistencies between her current testimony and prior statements she gave regarding the alleged balcony incident. On Thursday morning, Combs' lawyers pressed her on the timeline. They claimed that the alleged balcony incident could not have occurred when she said because Combs was performing on the East Coast for much of September 2016. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't this story sound familiar? Like, I could have sworn some people said Suge Knight did the same thing to some people. I think they said that he did it to Vanilla Ice to get him to sign the contract over there at Death Row. Now, before concluding the cross-examination, Combs' lawyer suggests that Bongolan was lying about the balcony incident and the injuries, saying, "I can't agree with you." This is what Bongolan responded, adding that she could not recall the exact date of the alleged incident, but she would never forget him holding me on that balcony. Another former girlfriend of Combs's, who alleges she was abused and made to participate in drug-fueled sex sessions known as freak-offs, is also expected to be called to the stand on Thursday. So that's the latest. What's going on with that? But I'm no attorney, but I do wonder with this whole situation, if he's looking at the jury and nodding and kind of eye fucking them and all this other stuff, would this warrant a mistrial? Like, I need my lawyers to fan out and let me know. Cause I don't know. I always feel like, okay, if there's any kind of jury interference in some sort of way, even with a nod or a smile or a wink or whatever the case is it some sort of a situation? Because you know what this reminds me of? Remember that scene in Serial Mom where she was on trial and that lady was you know, I guess she basically got influenced or whatever by Miss Sutphin, and they got her off, and then she went into the bathroom, and then she had to go kill her because she was wearing white after Labor Day. So I'm wondering if it's kind of like similar to that situation. But anyway, let me know in the comments if this could be like lead up to a mistrial or whatever, because he's kind of sort of interfering with the case. So I definitely want to hear from y'all, whatever your thoughts on this story and the one about Sunny Hostin saying that he gave her a look or whatever the case was while she was in the courtroom listening intensely to the trial. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. All right. Your grace period is up. He said, why? What happened in Liverpool? Why is Liverpool Pride canceled? I wish Madonna would go independent. She has plenty of money, but wants someone else to foot the bill. Because she feels like she's good on the investment, but she has to realize the industry is not what it once was, where it was like, oh yeah, they know like they can give her a certain amount of money and she'll go and use the money wisely, record the music, get out there, promote it, tour, all that other stuff, and she'll be good on her investment. Those days are done. Like the days of, we give you a big old investment and you go and, they put stuff behind the singles, they put stuff behind the music videos, but they put up the money and stuff for that. Those days is gone. Like people don't consume like that anymore. We're in the digital era, unfortunately. Sailor Murray says he got to get back to work. So he's on his break. Hasn't Diddy been on The View before? Of course, I'm sure he has. I know he went on Ellen a lot. I think he was on there like that. Yeah, I believe he's been on The View. Everybody's pretty much been on The View. He probably likes, he's probably like, come on, let me go home. Well, look, it's not up to you. It's, your fate is in those people, the 12 jury and the alternate's hands. But I think he might get the max sentence because of everything he's done, which is like the rest of his life in prison. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. All right, now speaking of alleged assaulters, let's get into this Russell Simmons story, who's apparently suing HBO. Oh, excuse me, my allergies. Okay, so yeah, he's suing HBO and stuff because apparently they did a little documentary on him. I didn't watch it because, to be honest, I've been overwhelmed with a lot of these stories about all these moguls who allegedly have been getting around abusing people and this, that, and the other. So I really didn't get into the story. I didn't watch it, but let's talk about it. So he's suing HBO and the filmmakers behind the on-the-record documentary for $20 million, alleging they defamed him and ignored evidence that supported his version of events. The documentary by Amy Ziering and Kirby Dick centered on SA and misconduct allegations against the hip-hop mogul from numerous women. It was distributed by HBO Max in 2020. So it was like 5 years ago. Who's going to remember that? Now, Simmons' lawyer, Imran Ansari, filed a summons in civil court in Manhattan, and I know he ain't coming out here to deal with this case. He probably gonna do it via satellite because I don't know if he leaving Bali. But then again, Russell Simmons will say, "Oh well, if I was guilty of anything, how come I have been flying back and forth in out of Bali to the United States? I've even been doing business in New York, and nobody touched him." That's what he pretty much said. So yeah, they filed the summons in civil court in Manhattan, alleging that the filmmakers disregard and/or suppress information provided by Simmons' representatives, saying, quote, despite voluminous support for Mr. Simmons in the form of credible information, persuasive evidence, witness statements, and calls for further investigation by notable members of the media, politics, and the civil rights movement, the defendants simply disregarded it and released and continued to re-release globally a film that tremendously disparaged and damaged Mr. Simmons with salacious and defamatory accusations that he vehemently denies. This is what Ansari and co-counsel Carla DeMere said in a written statement. Now, the statute of limitations for defamation actions in New York is 1 year from the date of first publication. To prevail, Simmons will have to show that HBO is liable for more recent republication in international markets. The film debuted at the Sundance Film Festival in January of 2020 and was initially intended for Apple TV Plus. So I've totally forgot about that. And I think it was that this was the documentary that Oprah was going to be behind, and there was like a deal that she had with Apple TV Plus, and that was one of the things she produced. And for some reason, which was never explained, she withdrew from the project. So once she withdrew from the project because she had the deal over Apple TV Plus, HBO Max ended up picking up the rights and airing it on their streamer, I should say. Now, according to the filing, Simmons' representatives lobbied HBO leaders at the time, including Casey Bloys and Warner Media CEO John Stankey, to, no avail. Now, it says, quote, defendants were requested to review this evidence and information by multiple luminaries in media and politics, including but not limited to civil rights leaders and members of Congress, and other high-profile Black leaders and board members within the defendants' corporations itself. The filing seeks immediate removal of the documentary from HBO's platforms, as well as at least $20 million in damages. Now, Simmons has faced several misconduct lawsuits, including from some of those who appeared in the documentary. In November 2023, he reached a confidential settlement with Sille Abrams, who was among those interviewed, for $1,265,000, according to a court filing last year. In all, more than 20 women have accused him of SA. Now, Ansari is a part. Well, y'all don't pretty much care who she's a partner of, because that's lawyer speak. But for the most part, it's like, really, Russell, I'm not buying what you selling. But if you feel like you got the evidence, you got things that's going to vindicate you in some sort of way, then go off knees. We'll see, and I'll keep abreast of the story as it develops. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Off Cheat, who is out here acting all mad, big mad, over the fact that, Cardi out here doing some messiness. So the rapper apparently ended up deactivating his social media accounts after spiraling over his estranged wife Cardi B's new boyfriend, Stefon Diggs, getting matching braids with the couple's son, Wave. Now, I do have the photo. Hold on as I pull that up so y'all could get a little situation. I'm like, what did I put it under? Oh, here it is. Yeah, so there's the picture there. And you said, them cheeks is cheeking with Offset. But anyway, so then he wound up also, speaking of which, and then we'll come back to the photo. he ended up putting up this tweet because he was crashing out when he saw the picture. He said, "Now, when somebody died for playing with my son, then call me the crash out. IDC how I look trolling with my kin ends bad." So this came out on June 3rd of 2025. Today is the 5th, so this is like 2 days ago. And I've heard some people say, "Oh, that picture's old, blah, 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 what so on and so forth." I'm like, who cares? The fact of the matter was, there's a picture of Offset's son, Wave, with the same hairdo as Stefon Diggs, who is Cardi's new boo. Now, they might have been seeing each other undercover for a while, and they made their relationship official a couple of days ago, official tissue on social media. But then we saw them out publicly for the first time, like as a couple, at the Knicks game at my job, at during the Knicks during the playoffs, where they came out and you saw that. So now people are sitting there like trying to, I guess, make excuses around timelines. Who cares how long ago the picture was taken? The fact of the matter is, it's no coincidence that this child got the same hairdo as Cardi's new boo. And I understand that you mad at Offset because he gaslights you, he pokes the bear, he does these crazy things to you on social media, and you've been quiet about it for a long time, but he throws these little subliminals. He gets on social media and starts trolling, and he does crazy things. And then so Cardi's got to go and she's got to retaliate, which I don't mind if you do that. But you got to realize also, because it's like, yeah, when you fed up and you tired of somebody being a mess and they mess with you, then it's like, yeah, I got to fight back. I got to find a way to windmill on the situation. So I totally get where she's coming from with that. But I do feel like when you start, and this is the way it looks, so I'm not saying this is necessarily what she's doing, but perception is everything. Perception is always, people, fall into that more than they care about the damn truth. So when you see stuff like this, what it looks like is that you are weaponizing your child, especially when you went on that whole rant on Spaces, Twitter Spaces, because I refuse to call it the other thing. When you on there talking about that he's not even in the kid's life, that he's only called or visited the children a couple of, not even a whole, like you can count on one hand how many times they actually he came to spend time with the kids, that when you released them, how much money you spend on their tuition, their extracurricular activities, tutors, a driver, all that stuff, a chef. When you start spilling all that stuff, and you reveal, all of that, and you're saying that he didn't give you a dime, that you basically out here busting your behind, really the one taking care of the kids, then I totally understand that too. Like, you can spill all of that because it's like he's trying to come at you and challenge you as a mother, saying that you're not doing what needs to be done, but he's not doing what he's doing according to her as a father. But when y'all start playing them around and weaponizing the children, that's when it's a problem. And it's not just rich people that do it. Just goes to show that, you know what, it's not a rich people thing. Because there's people that don't have Cardi and Offset money that pull the same stunt, that do that like to use their kids as pawns and weaponize their children to get back at they no good ass man that you decide to spread your legs and have kids with. So I feel for you in some ways, Cardi, but you knew who you laid. You should have known who you laid and spread your legs to from the beginning when you got with him. That's why I keep saying y'all need to stop spreading your legs and getting with these scrubs that TLC done warned us about. Because then this is what you end up with. You end up with people like him and DDG. What T.S. Madison called fuck ninjas? So what the rest of the story said. Okay, so they said that so last month that's when they confirmed it. And like I said, at the NBA game for the Knicks. She then made the raunchy relationship Instagram official. Oh yeah, so the Instagram official was over the weekend, but then we saw that they made it public last month when they were at the Knicks game. And that's when, Offset and Stefon got into it. But my thing is, sir, you've been out here cheating on her when you was married, left, right, and center, and then you expected her to be like Rashida from Love and Hip Hop and you was acting like you was Kurt, except you got more money than Kurt. But you thought that she was Rashida and she was going to just stick with you regardless. And you was going to sit up here. I'm not saying you had any babies out of wedlock like he did, but you thought you was going to go out and sling, community ding-a-ling while you with her and married, and you thought she was just going to stick with you for better or worse. More or less of the worst. And finally, she at her breaking point was like, I'm done. And now you mad. But you're the one that made this bed too. So unfortunately, what I feel bad for at the end of the day, like even, putting all of this stupidness aside with the hair, I feel for the kids because they caught up in this mess and y'all both out here acting the fool on social media. But I feel like what Cardi need to do is use all this stuff that he out here, his little crash outs against him if she want to get full custody. So yeah, he said, good roll out NPR. This is what he wrote on Twitter, adding a video of a man throwing a basketball out of frame with the words, today I pass. Now, Diggs clapped back with an Instagram photo of himself catching a football, which commenters took to mean, we good over here, I caught her. 2 days before Cardi uploaded the Instagram carousel in question, she publicly accused Offset of being an absentee father. And Cardi also claimed that Offset, who requested spousal support, left her with the kids' bills for a whole year straight. So, and she said that he hasn't seen the kids since March, and we're in June. So basically, it's been 3 months since he was over here dealing with his children. And I feel like, you know what? I wonder what his relationship is with his other baby mothers, because Cardi ain't the only woman he got kids with. And I wonder, if I remember, I don't think she has the best. That Cardi had the best relationship with his baby mothers while she was married to him. So this is a hot ass mess. I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops, but I just feel like y'all just need to keep y'all tea off social media because y'all keep putting us in the group chat, and then we got a comment, and then it just becomes just this stupid, horrible thing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all what you guys think of this story regarding Offset. Do you feel like it is, he has a right to feel the way that he feels? Like I don't like the whole idea of if this is what she's doing, that she's using her child, weaponizing her kid to get back together with, to get back at him, because it also reminds me of the situation, but I don't think that's what Sierra was doing. Because remember when Future, No Good Behind, was not really partaking in Lil Future's life and all this other stuff, and then she got with Russell Wilson, who was a good man, Savannah, and was treating her like the queen that she actually is, and you ain't never heard nothing bad come from him. The only difference is, like I said, Russell Wilson is a good man, Savannah, and Future is like Offset. And now you have this whole situation where Future get mad thinking like, oh, she weaponizing a child. So it's like, no, but if you're not there, so nobody put a gun to your head and stop you from being the dad that you need to be to your kid. You take it upon yourself to put yourself in a situation. So when somebody actually steps up to do the job that you should be doing off rip, now you want to get mad. But the trolling, if that's what Cardi's doing, I don't like that. But you have every right to feel how you feel on the other stuff. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, now speaking of scrubs who think they fine and only is known as a buster, let's get into this DDG story. So apparently he tried to file a notion, or request, I should say, to prevent Halle Bailey from leaving the country with Halo. So she's supposed to be going off, I think at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken. She's supposed to be going off to Italy to shoot a movie, and she said she's going to be out there until, like, I believe the beginning of August. So that's a while, like 2 months. That sounds about right, because, it usually takes about 2 months to shoot a movie. And so she said she's got an acting gig. She's got to take Halo with her. And DDG is like, no, you're not taking my child out of the country. But he was denied his request, because if Halle's been out here taking care of Lil Halo and you just been out here streaming all damn day, and according to her, leaving when you do have Halo, you leave him with your mother to babysit, and you're not really spending time with him, so he ain't nothing but a little prop, he a little accessory to you. It's like a little Cabbage Patch Kid that you playing around with. It's like, no, this is a whole being. You literally, like, I get that streaming is part of your job, that's your livelihood, but as a parent, you have to learn that there's got to be a couple of hours that you have to dedicate to your gig, and the other rest of the day, you got to dedicate to being a dad to your son. So According to a court document obtained by People on Thursday, that'll be today, June 5th, the streamer's request to restrict the Little Mermaid star from leaving the country with their 17-month-old son has been denied. He's also filed a temporary restraining order against Bailey, which was also denied. Denied! That's all I think about. Susie Orman. After DDG, whose real name is Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr., filed the emergency order on Wednesday, June 4th, Bailey filed a request to deny his motion and grant her request to take their son to Italy on vacation. Reps for Bailey and DDG did not immediately respond to people's requests for comment. Now, on June 4th, DDG filed a motion to request an emergency hearing and asked the court to restrict Bailey from traveling internationally with their son, specifically on vacation to Italy. They said, and also DDG had requested a DV restraining order, alleging that Bailey posed an imminent emotional and psychological risk to the minor child based on repeated, documented threats of self-harm. He claimed that if Hailey were to leave the country, the toddler would be without the protections of the court and any emergency intervention mechanisms. In May, Bailey was granted temporary physical and legal custody of the former couple's son after she alleged the rapper abused her physically and emotionally. The temporary restraining order, which ordered the Twitch streamer to remain over 100 yards away from Bailey and Hailey at all times, expired of the court hearing scheduled for June 4th. Bailey also asked the judge to order her ex-boyfriend not to be allowed visitation with his son. However, she requested that DDG be given supervised visits with a professional company once a week for 6 hours while Hailey was in LA. Additionally, Bailey asked the court to prevent DDG from taking their son outside of the the county of Los Angeles. The former couples untimely split in 2024 after beginning their relationship in 2022, which I don't know how people were surprised over this whole situation because we all knew it was only a matter of time before y'all parted ways, especially when I've always felt that there were ways, especially around the time when she was trying to keep her pregnancy secret. She didn't want us to know that she was pregnant. But there was always little things that he would do that always felt like you were trying to clout chase off of her. You were always trying to expose her. You were always up to some snake mess on social media. And people was calling you out on. I saw it through the BS from the beginning. And now y'all are where y'all are. So we all knew that there was something going on. It was only a matter of time before it was exposed. And now it's all coming out. So, in her response to the motion, Bailey also accused DDG of exaggerating, lying, and misconstruing the nature of their relationship, her approach to parenting, and her mental health. Bailey specifically highlighted an altercation between DUB and a man from DreamCon, I believe that's DDG's brother, during which the user referred to DDG as doo-doo garbage. Okay, that's childish, but it is funny, as a reason for why the motion should be denied. Now, on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, Daryl and his brother were recorded on TikTok being involved in a fist fight with another man. I will bring this video to court. I will bring this video to court. Daryl and the people around him are so aggressive and angry, which leads me to believe this is not a safe environment for Halo. In the declaration, Bailey also highlighted that DDG plans to stream 24/7 from Houston, Hawaii, Atlanta, and Paris throughout June. So if you're doing all that, how you going to have time to watch the kid? Then they said when he has had custody in the past, he has left Halo with his mother. This is what Hailey said. Bailey also noted that she contractually obligated to shoot a movie, and that's what I was saying before. What I was like, wait a minute, I know I'm not bugging with the whole Italy thing. He told me it's a vacation, but she said that she's contractually obligated to shoot a movie in Italy later this month until early August, an arrangement that DDG has known about for months. So he's going on a vacation. It's like, sir, I'm working. I'm not sitting on my ass in front of a computer running my mouth. Did I just read myself in my own profession? But I'm actually getting out there and I gotta memorize lines. I'm going to be on a set. 14 to 16 hours, not necessarily mean you're going to be working all through them 14 to 16 hours. Because, if any of you ever been on a set, You're spending a lot of hours just sitting around waiting to shoot your scenes. So she's going to have plenty of downtime. She'll be on set. She'll be able to take care of the kid and watch Halo and be a mom. And then when she's got to go off and shoot her scenes, then she'll go up and do her thing. And I don't know. I'm sure she probably has I don't know if she has a nanny or she's going to have her mother or somebody go with her or an assistant. I don't know. She'll have somebody that will hold it down for her while she's shooting her scenes. But for the most part, she's going to be there with the kid instead of what DDG, she's accusing him of going to be doing, sitting on his behind for 24 hours streaming. So, like I said, in the video for Dream Call Altercation, they said DDG, DUB, and their entourage were walking through the convention hall when someone referred to DDG as doo-doo garbage, a reference to a similar incident that happened during Kai Cenat's Streamer University event. DUB and his cameraman appeared to take some swings at the person in response. DDG later addressed the incident and said his brother was in fear of his life. Do you really believe that? Saying, quote, this dude was following us around the whole entire DreamCon trying to embarrass us and bully us. This is what he said during Twitter Spaces. I told my brother to check him in terms of check and see if he's okay, check to see if he needs help, check to see if he's all right because he kept following us. We thought he was a little slow or whatever. Well, here's the thing. When you saying check somebody, we all know that when you say check him, that you're not talking about check on somebody to see if they're okay. Check him is oh, I need to step to this dude and be like, Miley was good. That's what checking somebody means. So if you out here trying to be obtuse, doo-doo garbage, let's not. Because we see through the Maybelline. So yeah, so that's the latest on this whole situation. Child, this is why I always tell y'all gotta be aware of, take your birth control, put your IUDs, in your cootie cat. And you men out here need to start covering up your dicks with a rubber and stop being out here putting babies in people if you're not ready to deal with what comes with being, a child, because this is a whole human being that you're dealing with. This is not some little game. So a lot of you young people out here doing all this stuff, just now you stuck with him for the rest of your life. Same thing with Cardi B. So I definitely want to hear from y'all what your thoughts are on this story. Let me know in the comments down below. You said DDG is a loser to me. From the clips I saw of him at Streamer University, a very insecure dude who doesn't fit in with his more famous friends. I saw there was another video that they were talking about with the whole Streamer University. There was some guy that was upset that he didn't get chosen for this whole Streamer University. And I'm sitting there thinking, I hope that those of you who are out here that are mad because you didn't get to be a part of Kai Cenat's little thing, that you don't think that, oh, I'll never break and make it as a streamer or YouTuber, whatever the case is. I feel like the reality a lot of people need to realize is that don't bet on YouTube or something to make you famous or whatever the case is. If you have you have to have a real passion for this thing. You really think I'm sitting over here swimming in dough doing a YouTube channel? No. I make a little coin. It's not as much as I hope it would be, but I make a little coin every month. But I know the more people watch, the more people the more people subscribe, the more the channel grows, the money will come. But also I do other things. I have other ways of making money. So I'm not solely going to sit out here and be like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be this. I want to be that. It's this is fun for me. This is something that I like doing. It's a great hobby. I love I have the gift of gab, so why not use it? I like talking. I like interacting with people. I like engaging. I always want to give people facts, information, all this stuff, because I feel like a lot of people don't do that. Y'all want to just give opinions. You just want to run over your mouth and say the most controversial thing because it gets y'all clicks, likes, views, and attention. And it's cute or whatever if that comes over here, but I want to do it authentically and organically. And yeah, that hill is a long, hard one to climb, and it takes a while to get there. But at the end of the day, I got to know at the end of the day what I'm doing it with integrity. And it's cute or whatever if that's your situation, but that you should not be putting all your eggs in one basket and looking at a Kai Cenat to give you a little career boost. It's the cream will always rise to the top. If you have the gift of gab, you have the tenacity, you have the talent, people will actually see what you're doing and support you. We've heard this too about Halle Bailey, and I would not be surprised if it is a fact about her. So she also gives Mean Girl who plays in. Yeah, she definitely gives like, oh yeah, she's cute and nice on in person, but probably a real see you next Tuesday behind the scenes. I would not be surprised at all. And you said her snapping on someone pronouncing her name wrong and the nail salon situation. It's like, girl, bye. Not Chop Ho. Streaming University on last of the weekend. That's what I said. It ain't like it's like I'm sitting there thinking like you're gonna do like a whole course situation. You're out here pulling stunts and shows. And some people are like, well, yeah, what's the key to like getting a successful streaming service or a stream or being a successful streamer? I don't know. I don't think there is like some key or whatever. The fact of the matter is you just get up there. You gotta just have a thing, be personable, be entertaining, and just get up there and say what needs to be said. Speaking of which, I gotta watch that Nene Leakes interview with T.S. Madison because I saw that drop yesterday. Oh, we talking about young people needing 5 years work experience to even work at Walmart. Now how can you have 5 years work experience? That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like they making it so difficult for people um to even make it. Like, how do you even get the work experience? The only way you get work experience, you have to get the job. You got to be able to work at this place. You can't just be like, oh no, we only hire people because they have to have years. Like, I just feel like it's all a scam. These corporations. It's like yeah, the scams, the sons of shows. I feel for anybody that works at Walmart, quiet as it's kept. They say YouTube is not as huge as it was. Adults hate rules, so when they say something, it gets them banned. I'm telling you, people hate. Yeah, well, we know they hate censorship. Hence why y'all always hear like this mouth of mine is. That's why I don't get the big boost of the engagement because I cuss a lot. But then again, I've been hearing so many other people that be on social media cussing. But college puts you in debt. Exactly. It's and college is speaking of, some people hate when you say, oh, it's a scam. It is a scam. Like it's literally built to keep people in debt. People now. Could be that too. And they push they push a certain narrative. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. All right, let's talk about Romeo Beckham, who apparently the word on the street is that he is now single. So he is no longer with Kim Turnbull, who, for those of you who may not be aware, is the ex-girlfriend of his brother, who I think he's estranged from, Romeo Beckham. I was like, let me put that picture up of them together. So yeah, so they've called it quits. And this is people confirming it. Now, the couple confirmed their romance on Romeo's Instagram stories in November of 2024, sharing romantic shots, according to the Daily Mail. Later that same month, Romeo, who's 22, included her on his main Instagram grid in a photo documenting a family trip to New York City. News of their breakup comes amid a rift between the Beckham family, as a source previously told People that there are tensions between Brooklyn and Nicola Peltz and the family. The pair were noticeably absent from David Beckham's 50th birthday party, saying, quote, while the pair have been noticeably absent from the Beckham's recent functions, the relationship is definitely not beyond repair. They love and are always there for him. They are just hurt and disappointed that he's now playing no part in family life. Another insider, however, told People that Brooklyn, who's 26, and Nicola, who's 30, who tied the knot in 2022, decided to skip the event because of Turnbull, who was once linked to Brooklyn. So we'll see if, now that they've broken up, if we'll start seeing Brooklyn show up at family situations. And if he does with the wife, then that goes to show that, yeah, this girl was the main factor in the reason why they split. But my thing is this also, as a brother, that will piss me off because it's like I hooked up with this girl. I was in a relationship with this girl. You knew what I went through with this girl because I confided in you as my brother. And then the minute we break up, you go and slide up in her situation. And she messy too because that's her way of keeping herself attached to the whole Beckham situation. But now that y'all broke up, I'm like, who's she gonna go after next? Cruz? Can you imagine? She go after the next brother? It's like you going down the damn chain. Is he even old enough to date? So they said Brooklyn didn't want to be in the same room as her, and he told his dad that. But David opted to have Kim there over Nicola. So if David out here with his high ass voice being messy, oh, I'd have been pissed at you too. Oh, I'm not showing up to your 50th birthday party. I'm like, I know you half a century old, but now you done pissed me off. I don't care if I'm missing your 50th. I'll show up to your 60th, Lord willing, if you're still around. And there's no drama. And we can work everything out. They said, excuse me. A third source added, Brooklyn and Kim know each other from the past, and his family knows he's not comfortable around her. It is worth noting, however, that Brooklyn's younger brother Cruz told a commenter in an Instagram post that Brooklyn and Kim never dated. A different source also told people that the pair never dated. So then what's the tea? Why is it that you don't like her? Why are you not comfortable around her? If the implication is that they dated, but you got a source and the younger brother coming in and saying they never dated, then what's the real story? Are you trying to say that Kim is a clout chaser? Now, a fifth insider close to the Beckham family also told people, they said, quote, there were several events where Kim Turnbull wasn't present, including one of the family parties which Brooklyn and Nicola could have attended. People also previously, well, they didn't know. They probably thought like, oh, if we do show up, y'all saying she's not going to be here, and then all of a sudden she pop up, and then I'll be mad. But but my thing is this, if that would have happened, we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. If you did some betrayalness, betray my trust in that whole situation, then I know next time, oh no, now you want to play in my face. Well, I know next time y'all have something, I'm not coming. So people also previously reported that the strained relationship between Brooklyn and his parents that allegedly stems from events at his wedding. Because there was something that went on. They said that I think it was that Victoria did something and she stole the show. Like it was supposed to be like a big dance or whatever he was supposed to do with his wife, and then Victoria stepped on the moment. So they said earlier this month, people learned that Brooklyn and Nicola hired a lawyer previously used by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry amid ongoing tensions within the Beckham family. The pair are working with British lawyer Jenny Afia, who works for the Schillings law firm, per the Mail on Sunday, which first reported the news. According to the outlet, the pair hired the lawyer to help them with their reputation management. So I guess they're trying to work out because I guess that it is rocky. Things is going on. They know there's some type of family dynamic. A reputation manager sounds like something that you're just trying to work on, not looking crazy in the eyes of the public. So you have this person that's trying to come in and I guess shift the narrative where it doesn't look like there's trouble in like there's family dynamics and that sort of thing going on. But I just hope that the Beckhams actually work it out. I don't want y'all to be in a situation where y'all will end up estranged and the black sheep and an outcast like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry with that whole situation. Because we already know Prince Charles is sick. They say that Prince Charles is at death's door. That the older brother with the receding hairline, Prince William, he's going to step up and become the king. It's funny how it took how long for Queen Elizabeth old ass to perish before Prince Charles became King Charles. He been waiting. He thought he'd probably never get you know, to put the crown on his head and become king because his damn mother wouldn't die. I know that sounds so harsh saying that way. And now he finally gets the crown on his head. He gets to be the king for a minute. And now allegedly he's dying, sick, all that other stuff. And then because Prince Harry was out here spilling family tea and all this other mess, exposing the Camelot, which I totally understand. Like, you out here defending windmilling hard for your wife, especially with the way you saying that she was mistreated by the family. Maybe Brooklyn's in the same situation where he's tired of people mistreating his wife. So I hope y'all work it out. I hope there's no longer going to be any drama in the Beckham household. And yeah, so that's all I got to say on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the Beckhams and the mess that's going on with them? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Could it be a bad hookup? Like he failed in bed and she made fun of him for freaking out? Or it just could have been that it was a one night stand and probably was trying to develop into a relationship, but the relationship didn't go anywhere. But then I guess Romeo realized, he was like, oh, you're not dating her? So then I can go over there and get with her. And then so he went up and got with her, and then may have caused some sort of a rift. Because like, I didn't think you'd be bothered because y'all really wasn't dating. I dated her. You just fucked her. You said he isn't a bedwetter. Wait, there was a whole bedwetting story about him? You said, wait, if you deep dive, Brooklyn is honest that as the eldest one, he has too much expectations, failed at soccer and failed at music or fashion, and admits he can't work and is meant to be a socialite, nothing else. And his parents are ashamed of it because Romeo can do football, modeling, and Cruz can sing. Well, look, everybody's got their shrimps, and if Brooklyn is lazy and don't want to do nothing and wants to mooch off of his wife and her money, then let him do that. I don't know why the Posh and Bex are going to be all upset over that. I understand, like, you probably have high expectations for your children, but if he knows that my talent is like the Kardashians, me not doing a good goddamn thing, except the Kardashians got little brands and businesses and things. But if I'm good at just not doing nothing, I just want to go and kiki and hang out and do all that all day, then why not? Let him do that. The other two, Cruz is a singer. I don't know if he's pursuing it. And Romeo is a ex-footballer. And yeah, he's tall and attractive, so he can get into the whole modeling thing if he wants to push that. I'm sure him being Victoria's son, she definitely can connect him with all the right people because she's in the fashion world. But if Brooklyn just wants to be, a socialite, let him be a socialite. Better him than the wife, right? Okay. All right. So now, speaking of socializing situations, let's get into this Justin Bieber story. So y'all know that Justin is one of the most popular and controversial pop icons at the moment. And as much as he's been in the news regarding like his performances and the drama that he's been going allegedly with Scooter Braun, and there's been financial situations that or financial struggles, and people saying that he's burning through a lot of money, hence why he was broke at one point and why he had to go sell his musical catalog. Well, it don't look like he might be hurting for cash soon, because if he he and Hailey decide to split, because there's been a lot of rumors regarding their relationship. If their relationship doesn't work out, what they're saying is that he could walk away with half of her billion-dollar fortune. So the pop star, who's 31, wed the model turned entrepreneur in 2018. Damn, they've been married 7 years? Damn. I didn't even realize they were married that long. And they said they've been dogged by, which means that, if they come up on that 10-year mark, he definitely could walk away with half of her money. I didn't know they was married that long. I thought they got married like a year or two ago. I guess probably because I haven't been paying attention to Justin Bieber and everything that he does in his personal life, especially, regarding his wife. I did not know that it's been that long. So yeah, they said they've been dogged by rumors of turmoil, rumors of marital. Why can't I talk today? Marital woe ever since. Although Hailey, who's 28, last month blasted jealous bitches who kept the speculation circulating. She set up RHONJ in 2022 and sold the brand to ELF Beauty last week in $1 billion deal. Saying, quote, it's highly unusual for people of their stature to not have an agreement that governs their assets. This is what a top Hollywood divorce lawyer told Page 6 of Prenups. But sometimes people don't want to do it. The Biebers wed in a New York City courthouse ceremony, followed by a elaborate ceremony in South Carolina. Hold on, pause. Wasn't there a story that came out that Justin Bieber and Hailey got married on a plantation? I could have sworn I heard that, like Hannaford and Ben Affleck end up getting married on a plantation. Anyway, so it said, quote, because they live in California, the state would have jurisdiction. And the law states that anything created during marriage is community property. If there is no prenup or postnuptial agreement, this sounds like community property to me. And it could have been a situation where they thought that, you know what, she's probably not going to be making more money than him. that Justin is pretty much the breadwinner because he's the pop star and all the other stuff. And she'll have a little beauty brand. But I don't think I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for her, but I'll just say for me, I didn't expect something coming from Hailey Bieber to just be this brand that would be just as big of a competitor of someone like Kylie Jenner's beauty brand or Rihanna's Fenty beauty brand or even Selena Gomez, her bestie. Yes, I said bestie on purpose. I know I'm being messy. We know them two don't like each other. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Selena winning because while you just sold your stuff, Selena was like on social media, it's about I'm still here, here, here. Yes, Tisha Campbell. So to move on with this, they said Hailey, who is set to join ELF as RHONJ's chief executive officer and head of innovation, hit the jackpot with her beauty brand, but will actually be taking home $1 billion. ELF is paying $800 million in cash and stock at the close of the deal, expected before September. Another $200 million is based on RHONJ's performance over the next 3 years. So she got to make sure that her stuff performs well over 3 years before she could see that full billion. But she gonna get $800 million in cash. First of all, why are we doing cash? That's got me thinking there's some citizen stuff coming on along with that. But if that's how y'all do business, who am I to disagree? In the words of Annie Lennox. Saying, quote, there are two things happening here. This is what Richard Katzenbaum, partner and co-founder of Triangle Capital LLC, had to say. And he also admitted it's hard to know precisely how much Hailey will make. The people who invested on different terms are entitled to be paid out first. They're entitled to make a profit before anyone makes a profit. That's called the preference. It reduces proceeds for everyone else, and that includes Hailey. As Page Six previously reported, although she's a big spender, Hailey has become kind of the breadwinner for her family, which includes the couple's 9-month-old son, Jack Blues. And it's like, yeah, Justin ain't working. The only time he made a chunk of money was because he sold his music for $200 million. But he hasn't worked since. I don't even know if he wants to work. He's just out here doing his little, smoking his little bong water and keeping it moving. So they also said but Hailey might not be entitled to Justin's baby money in the event of the split. In 2023, the singer sold his entire music catalog, as I said, to an investment company, Hypnosis Songs, Capital, saying, quote, if Justin's music catalog originated prior to his marriage, that is separate property. Regardless of when you sell the catalog, it's still separate. So yeah, I guess it's like she's the one that I guess had that property while they were married, so he might be entitled to half of that. Whereas Justin was making his music and doing his thing before he even got with her. So that is separate. She's not gonna be able to get any of that. And plus, if he sold the catalog, I don't think he gets a percentage of that music. He don't own it. He gave it away. He sold it. That means his first 4 albums and hit songs include Baby, Love Yourself, Sorry, and What Do You Mean? Would ostensibly be separate property. Justin hasn't released an album since 2021 with Justice, although the Hollywood Reporter recently reported that he's very close to finishing a new project. Are you going to do like Miley, just put it out there, but you can't tour? Now, in September 2022, he pulled the plug on the remainder of his Justice tour following a rare diagnosis of type 2 Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, of facial paralysis disease, losing out on an estimated $90 million in income. And that was when we did that story where apparently he owes Scooter Braun money because he didn't finish and hold up his end of the contract. People, invested, they expected to make good on their investment. And when you don't tour, when you're not working, how are you going to recoup your investment? The Peter singer hasn't toured since, and given the music industry's shift to streaming, concerts are where artists make the majority of their income. Hence why y'all see Beyonce always out here touring, where y'all say that you got to tour with every album. Yes, they need that coin. Look, it's expensive out in these streets. Meanwhile, the Biebers own 6 homes, including a $26 million mansion in Beverly Hills, a $16 million home in La Quinta, and a property in Idaho, and hardly live a simple life. Saying, quote, these two are traveling on vacations every 2 days on Instagram. Oh, y'all like Teresa Giudice and her husband? But y'all always on vacation? They're running around with full-time security, and there's no money coming in for a long time. This is what a source told the publication last month. When Hailey's cover of Vogue was revealed for the June issue, her husband made a surprising statement on Instagram about their marriage, revealing that he once told her during an argument that she would never be on the cover of Vogue. He later deleted the caption. Oh, they dragged him over that. As for the rumors of marital problems, Hailey told Vogue, you would think that after having a child, people would maybe move on, chill out a little bit, but no. So I guess these bitches are going to be mad. Well, here's the thing. Just because you had a child don't necessarily mean that a child, and see, this is what I've always said about some people. There are people who run out here acting like, oh, if you have a kid, they're not supposed to cure a fucked up relationship. Kids don't cure marriages. Otherwise, if that were the truth, if that were really what the cure was, everybody be on that. There would be no children who are products of divorce, if that were the case. So, if Miss Bird for Brains really thought that, she's so slow. But anyway, I say all of this to you. What do you guys think of this story? Do y'all think that, yeah, if they get a divorce, Jessica could be entitled to half of her money, where she just sold her beauty brand for $1 billion. As we said in the story, she's not going to get all of it. It's like the people who bought the rights to it that she sold it to have to make money. The company has to make money a certain amount of time for her even to see some kind of money in her situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Let's see what the people are saying. Sorry, Onyx says, I thought they got married recently. Yeah, that's what I said. I could have sworn they got married like maybe 2 years ago or something. I was probably confusing it with the birth of their child. And also Hailey wasn't a big name until 2022 when she made Road Beauty, which goes to show that they were married at the time when she created it. So therefore, if you came up with this brand while you were married to your husband, that is property that he could acquire in the divorce. Especially living in California, if you married at some point, especially if you had that 10-year mark, you're entitled to their coin. The Lambs are going to try to give Mimi her 20th #1 single. Good luck going against Sabrina Carpenter. Like one realistic Lamb. Funny enough, at the concert last night, Jelly Roll was like, "Ain't no shame in my game." He was like, "How many of y'all go from listening like how'd y'all playlist?" And was like, "Who goes from Leonard Skinner to Sabrina Carpenter?" He's like, "Yeah, I have no shame in my game. I listen to Sabrina." He admitted he listened to Sabrina. He said, he has a daughter who listens to that." And was telling a story about how she was in her room and was listening to, damn, I forgot what the name of the album was, but he said that, oh, I feel like I'm not a bad parent because she was listening to like a lot of like classic music. So because he was talking about like his eclectic style of music and all the different things that he listens to, I know some of the people that was there was getting irritated because he and Post Malone was spending more time talking than doing music. I'm like, this is what they do. When I worked at the Garden, that's what he was up there doing a lot, was giving like these little inspirational sermons, whatever. I also had no idea that Post Malone is 29. Why did I think he was older than that? It's probably because of all them damn tattoos. I expected he was a lot older. He also was smoking and drinking a lot last night too. I'm like, what's in that cup? I don't even think Sabrina is going to go #1, going up against all those white guys in the top 10 right now. Maybe top 10 or top 5, but I can't tell you what any of those songs. Miss Xtina just acknowledged the not bionic, being 15 years old. Child. I hate it here with these anniversaries. Like we at that age now, it's like, oh, this album came out 25 years ago. Oh, this album came out 30 years ago. Oh, this album came out 15 years ago. Oh my God. And with that album, that's how long Lady Gaga been out here making music professionally. 15 years. I love a deluxe edition of that with demos. And I do like Bionic. I like when she went in that direction. Where it was like her inspirations was like what? Santi Gold, MIA, um, who else was she using? Goldfrapp, like a lot of those influences. Speaking of Goldfrapp, I'm actually looking forward to Alison Goldfrapp dropping her new album. But I'm mad I gotta wait till August. I was like, can we release it now? Then strip and back to basics. Yeah, that was the thing with Christina. Christina only had like maybe I can count on less than 5 fingers, like good Christina albums. And I would say those. It was Bionic Strip, Back to Basics. Those are like her best records. There's some songs I like on Lotus, but Lotus was not a good record. I really like the Back to Basics album almost as much as Bionic, but it's very overloaded. The tour is in my top 5. Yeah, that was another thing that was a problem with her albums too. Like it just felt like it was just too much on there. Like it felt like you said overloaded, like it was bloated. Right. Oh yeah, I forgot earlier. I went to go see Mission Impossible earlier. It was good. I actually got emotional during one particular scene where they killed off a certain member of the IMF team. I ain't gonna tell y'all who if y'all want to see it, but it was like, yeah, I got in my feelings, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I'm gonna go see Ballerina, and then I gotta go work this little Wayne concert. So it's gonna be a busy day tomorrow. But speaking of days, let's talk about today. And today, I would like for y'all to do me this solid. And if you can, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, we got 4 more topics to go, and then we are done with today's show. So let's get into one of the final 4. And let's talk about Miss Andrew Cohen, who appeared recently on The View. I think it was like 2 days ago. I didn't watch the episode, but I was hearing all the stuff that was going on. But yeah, he appeared on The View and he spilled some tea regarding the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, y'all already know right now, Real Housewives of New Jersey is on pause because there was a lot of drama that was going on, particularly between Teresa Giudice and her sister-in-law and brother, Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga. So that the Gorgas aren't getting along. The Giudices, the Teresa don't get along with them. People have been questioning Louis and all those stunts and stuff and what his intentions are being in that relationship. So they haven't been able to work out whatever it is. The family dynamics is what it is. I'm not even going to sit up here and try to break the whole thing down, but it's gotten to the point where it's so ugly between them and then people jumping in on situations that it's made it uncomfortable for a lot of the fans to watch. I also heard a rumor going around. I don't know if it's necessarily true. She kind of addressed it, but didn't. But word on the street is Black Dolores might be going over to the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which is a new addition to the Real Housewives. Sidebar, Andy, can you actually work on fixing the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and the Real Housewives of what's the other one? New York, before we worried about spinning off other iterations of the Housewives franchise? Can you fix what you currently have before you start spinning off new stuff? Please and thank you. Because New York is dry as hell. I have not watched that show since you got rid of the Legacy Girls. I did check into New Jersey, but yeah, I agree. It got so uncomfortable. But like they couldn't even film a reunion together. They had to put them in separate rooms. They had to watch clips. Then they had to like it was just crazy. And then Atlanta is like watching paint dry. Nobody cares about them second tier broads. And even bringing on Phaedra and her new titties is not going to save this show. So apparently, what he said on The View is that yeah, they're moving forward with looking for new girls. He said, we are doing casting on Jersey. This is what he said on Tuesday's episode of The View. He said it was really on a deep pause, and we are actively there casting and looking at the future of what it will be. The producer then attempted to persuade fans not to fret over the potential changes, and he reiterated that he and Bravo believe Real Housewives of New Jersey is a great franchise and we love it. Cohen confirmed that Bravo will be doing something different with the New Jersey franchise last July following the show's season 14 finale and unconventional reunion special, which is like I told y'all, they had to put the certain groups in separate rooms because Teresa didn't want to film with certain people. Black Dolores was being, Switzerland. So she was, the flip-flopper that she usually is going from one room to the other because she wants to get along with everybody. But then you had Melissa, then you had Margaret and a couple of them in one room, and then you had Teresa with Jen Aiden, who I hear Jen ain't come back, thank God, because she was insufferable. I don't know if they'll bring back Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda and all the other ones. I hope they bring some of the girls back. But the real question would be, what's going to happen with Teresa? Is Teresa coming back? Because we know that Andy got his faves. But if Teresa wants to keep living in the land of Delulu, then no, keep her ass on TV. Let her do whatever she's doing outside the housewives. It is be time to remix or remake the whole show or give it a makeover. But then the wonders is like, okay, if you do bring Teresa back, then are we getting rid of the Gorgas? Because to be honest, unless they're fighting with Teresa, the Gorgas don't really have a storyline. And it's no shade, it's just the truth. It's kind of like Kyle. Kyle don't really be having a storyline either, or she do have storylines. She just refused to participate and let people in on what's going on in her life. She wants to be vague. Like, oh, I need a mom, I need to. Okay, then get off reality TV, sis, because I'm sorry, and I know people hate when I say this, but if you're getting paid millions of dollars for cameras to follow you around regarding your personal life because it's a reality show, I'm using air quotes, I call it that. Because what is the definition of reality? I call it personally improvised television, but improvised television don't sound sexy. So it's reality TV. So when you call it that, if it's supposed to be real, then you need to get real with the audience. So are you getting your box eaten by Morgan Wade? Is your husband a philanderer? Philanderer. I almost said a philanthropist. There's nothing philanthropic about Mauricio. But philanderer, I don't even know her. I don't see. I hate when Michelle and them be saying that on uh RuPaul's Drag Race, but as a joke, I just had to throw that in there because it just popped in my head. But anyway, so yeah, so now they said that back in August it was reported that the show won't resume filming until sometime in 2025. So I do think that's what's going to happen. They're probably undergoing casting, and I feel like maybe because this is around the time where they want to usually shoot the Housewives anyway, the summertime. So I'm thinking maybe July, August, around that time they may start filming the new season, reboot it, bring some new girls in. I'd have been like, why not create the Real Housewives of Long Island? Because them Long Island girls and Jersey girls kind of one and the same. Like I grew up around a lot of those types, so I know exactly like what they could be looking for in regards to that. So it'll be interesting to see what new girls they bring in. But Teresa, I don't know, I'm over her. Jen Aiden, she was so I couldn't take her. Like I'm glad she's gone. Dolores Catania, boring. Melissa Gorga, boring. Pretty but boring. Margaret Joseph was giving good TV because she messy. I did like Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda. I do feel like y'all should bring them back. Jackie Goldstein, whatever. No, chop her. Jen Fessler, she was entertaining. So I feel like you can bring some of those girls back, but bring some spicy new women in. But just don't be boring like the Atlanta girls. The Atlanta girls trying to bring it, but it's like, nobody's buying it. So he didn't really give a whole lot of updates on the situation, but he did shut down a report by OK Magazine back in February that stated that Melissa Gorga and Dolores Catania would be returning to the show alongside a slew of new faces during a February episode of Sirius XM's Andy Cohen Live. He said, if it says Bravo has announced or Andy said it on his radio, then it's true. This is what he said at the time. That's what I will tell you. Don't believe anything else. Now, in the meantime, Real Housewives may still be able to get their fix with a forthcoming new franchise, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which Cohen told Page Six bears some resemblance to early episodes of Real Housewives of New Jersey. He said they are very Italian. Rhode Island is such a small state, and they all kind of know each other and overlap. And it's an incredible group of women who have really interesting connections. I think it's going to really surprise people. And that's why I said before that there was a rumor that's going around that Dolores might be on that show. Because I think they said that she was like buying property out there. And then Margaret, she was like, I may pay a visit. There was rumors about her and stuff. So we'll see if who ends up being a part of the cast. But if Jersey's going to be in that situation where it's like it was, the cast was primarily Italian, and then you're going to have people who's got kind of like the same type of vibe, but the only difference is the location, then we'll see. So he says, well, they're in Rhode Island, it's coastal, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So, um, all for whatever they decide to do with I won't say I'm all for whatever they decide to do with the housewives. It all depends on who y'all bring back. Once they start announcing who's a part of the cast and everything, then I really speak on it. But for the most part, I am a fan of the Housewives of New Jersey. Hopefully they can fix whatever the issue is. But if y'all need to, the only thing that y'all could do to come to the resolution of changing up the Housewives is getting rid of Teresa and Joe Gorga, because I feel like y'all brought Joe on to be messy, because there was a storyline that you could develop and play into the rift that Teresa had with her brother. And that was good TV. Except now it just created this monster that we all got sucked into this group chat that we all want to try to slither our way out of. So I said all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the Housewives of New Jersey? Well, Andy didn't really say much, but he says casting is underway. So I will definitely keep an eye on when, the casting situation is going to come down. I'm assuming that we're in June, that we may not find out what's going on with the whole Housewives of New Jersey until probably the end of this month into next month, because I'm sure that if they're going through the casting process, that we should be hearing an announcement within the coming weeks, and then they're going to start filming, especially because, in New York, or on the East Coast, I should say, the weather is starting to get nice. So this is around the time when y'all would want to go and start filming the Housewives instead of it being when it's freezing cold. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's go from one housewife to a former I should say one former housewife to another, or housewives to a housewife. And let's talk about Kim Zolciak. Well, apparently her daughter, Ariana, is on a new show called Gen X NY. Or sorry, Gen X. They ain't even Gen X. A lot of these kids are like, what, Gen Z? Next Gen NYC. So apparently the show premiered yesterday on Bravo. I haven't seen it yet, but I think tonight it's on Peacock. They uploaded to Peacock. Like I told you, I don't have cable, whatever. So I watch things on a streaming service. So today it appeared on Peacock. You may check it out after the show. But yeah, Ariana's on the show, and she spilled some tea regarding her relationship with her her mother and stepfather, and said that they stole her money. Well, they spent all her money. I shouldn't say stole, because stole would have been like what Mama June did to Honey Boo Boo. But in this situation, she said, yeah, her parents used up, spent her money. So Kim Zolciak's daughter, Ariana Biermann, dropped a bombshell on the premiere episode of her new reality show, Gen X NYC, claiming her mother and stepfather, Kroy Biermann, spent all of her hard-earned money. The 23-year-old influencer revealed that she started making significant income from brand deals and sponsored social media posts as early as 14, but alleges her parents wiped it out. So then, you know what? I take it back. You did pull a Mama June. Because if I'm making money at 14 from endorsement deals, thanks to me being on Don't Be Tardy and all that other stuff, and people are coming at me being like, can we use your kid to promote this, and this? And I'm thinking that when I get to be a certain age, all that money is building, and I can go and live off of that while I'm off doing other things, because I'm a brand person, and y'all was going in my account and spending it up, probably gambling it away and trying to use that money to keep that mansion afloat out in Georgia. I'd have been pissed. I had to take y'all to court and be like, bitch, better have my money. Pay me what you owe me. So she said, quote, I was doing like 3 posts a week and you get paid astronomical to do a story or to do an Instagram post. And I made quite a bit of money. But unfortunately, my parents took my money. And this is according to the Daily Mail, which revealed this, by the way. So they did say that they reached out to reps for Kim and Kroy, but they did not receive an immediate response. Well, of course you're not. You think they're going to admit that they used their child money? Now, since filing to end the near 12-year marriage in May of 2023, Kim and Kroy have been embroiled in a nasty legal battle over their Georgia mansion, custody of their 4 minor children, and financial support, with Kroy previously accusing Kim of gambling away $1.5 million. Now, allegedly, but I would not be surprised if Kim, in a time of desperation, because addiction is no joke, and if you got a gambling addiction, I would not be surprised if she went and dug up in Ariana's coin collection and used some of that money to gamble. So now Ariana is adding fuel to the fire, saying she discovered her money was gone 2 years ago. Saying, quote, I don't even know how much money I made over that time period. Nobody was honest. There was no transparency, and I have no idea where it actually went. She added that she can't say exactly what her parents spent it on. Ariana also revealed that the ongoing family drama has taken its toll on her relationship with boyfriend Hudson McElroy, particularly when her mom reaches out for financial help. Wait, is Hudson McElroy, is she the one that's dating a baseball player? Or was it Brielle? I can't remember. One of them is dating. I mean, I don't know who Hudson McElroy is, but I think she is dating a baseball player. But anyway, she said, sometimes I don't even tell Hudson when she's asking me for something because she's going through this crazy divorce and living with 4 kids. She admitted in a confessional. I get it, and I never want money to destroy the relationship with my family. Money woes have loomed large over Kim and Kroy's unraveling marriage. After filing for divorce, Kroy accused the reality star of a severe gambling problem that he claimed left the family in financial ruin. And so here's the thing. This is really sad that Kim, you out here begging your child for money because you on hard times. And if you out here being stubborn, see, this is what happens when you was running out here thinking you was hot shit because you a big booty footballer during the Housewives of Atlanta season. You was too good to film with the girls. You was too good to travel and do all these other things with the cast. And then you went off and you had the little tight ass, boring ass reality spinoff. Don't be talking. I don't know what people was on that show. First of all, that show was on 8 seasons, too damn long. But as I always say, crackers gonna cracker. You already know that. Oh, some of them other girls deserve their own little spinoffs. But of course, you give the sole white girl on an all black reality show, you lay out the whole red carpet for her. And what do you have to show for it? Nothing. To the point where, according to Ariana, you hitting your own daughter up, asking her for money. Like, bitch, you better go get and you out here going and we're seeing you on social media at the surgeon, getting all these new things done to you. They probably was free because you endorsing them. And it's a promotion. So, I'm gonna go and do all these little surgery situations or this new little thing from these these cosmetologists or dermatologists, whatever you want to call them, people in the cosmetics industry, and you making a mint from that, or just off the promotion, whatever, and you getting free stuff. But you got time to be doing it. So, girl, you should have got I think she did get a vaginal rejuvenation. You better put that puss to use then. You not well, look, you ain't got no man now. Put the pussy up for sale. Pussy for sale, pussy for sale. On the little girl with the pussy for sale. Now, according to court filings, he alleged that Kim blew through more than 600 grand on luxury shopping sprees over a 7-year span, frequenting high-end retailers like Neiman Marcus, Chanel, and Saks. The financial pressure only escalated when the Georgia mansion, once listed at a far higher price, lingered on the market for over 18 months. In February, the troubled property finally sold, but at a steep $3 million discount, following months of foreclosure threats. Yeah, they were trying to sell it for $6 million, but they were like, we're not paying that coin. So they had to cut $3 million out of it. Ariana claim comes almost a week after Kim faced fresh backlash after promoting an online casino, despite ongoing claims that her gambling habit helped tank her family finances. Well, why don't you get into the meme coin scam business? Why don't you go hit up Donald Trump and ask him how that whole situation worked? Because look, if Elon Musk can help him, because that was another thing too, that with the money and all that other stuff that he gave Trump, and him going in with the whole Doge thing to get rid of a lot of those companies that prevented them from investigating his businesses for malpractice. He also helped with his Silicon Valley bros, helped Trump with this whole meme coin scam business, which he ended up scamming a lot of his supporters the day before the inauguration. So maybe if you need a little coin situation, you go hit up the Trumps and find out how they was able to put that meme coin situation together. Because you can get you a little mint from that. Look, everybody's getting pardoned these days from committing white collar crimes. Why not you? So the accusations about Kim's gambling losses were seen in a 2023 Milton Police Department body cam video after officers responded to the home after Kim reported a domestic dispute. During the police visit, Kroy told police that the Don't Be Tardy alum had decimated everything with her penchant for gambling. He added that some of her gaming activity was illegal. Excuse me. Kim and Kroy's 4 kids, Kroy Jr., aka KJ, Cash, and twins Kane and Kaya were at the home at the time of the altercation. Biermann had adopted Zolciak's older children from previous relationships. Brielle is 28 and Ariana when they were minors in the couple's earlier years. So Ariana's bombshell financial claim also comes after she finally received her sentencing following her 2022 DUI arrest. The media personality was involved in a minor fender bender at the time, but denied that she had been drinking and leading up to the incident. However, she admitted to using a vape the night before. Well, it had weed in it. A hearing recently took place on May 23rd amid her criminal case, and she entered a plea deal, with charges officially being dropped per In Touch Weekly, which was first to report the news. She pleaded guilty to both reckless driving as well as possession of and use of a drug-related object. However, the star will have to serve 24 months on probation, and if she commits any violations, she could serve time in jail. So I'm glad that Ariana's out here and making a name for herself with the whole, like, this new reality show, which is taking a lot of the kids of former housewives or current housewives and other socialites, and they put them on a show together. So you got Candy Burber's daughter, Riley, is on the show. Teresa's daughter, Gia, is on the show. And now you have Kim's daughter, Ariana's on the show with a bunch of other people. I heard there's a trans girl that's on the show as well. So I'm definitely curious to see what this show is. I wonder if it kind of reminds me of, because once upon a time, back in the day, Bravo did do a show where they were trying to do it like with these New York City socialite types. It lasted like 1 season. But I'm never going to check this show out. But I do wonder, with all this tea that Ariana is spilling, will it affect her relationship with Kim? I don't know necessarily about Kroy, because she did reveal recently in a previous interview that we did when we talked about her before that her relationship with Kroy has not been the same since the whole split between the parents. That she was close with Kroy, and they're just not as close as they once were. So I'll definitely keep abreast of the story as it develops. So I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Kim, you are a mess. Get it together, girl. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Felix said that's probably why Kim did that show, Got to Get Out. Oh, she did. Oh, I forgot that she did. She had that show, and also probably why she did. What was it? The Surreal Life. I forgot all about that show. I never got around to watching it. I was actually going to watch that other show, the reality show. What's it called? With Jeffrey Dean Morgan. That's kind of like The Amazing Race. I was gonna watch that because Josh from Big Brother, who won Big Brother and also won the challenge, was on there. But then my friends told me he was eliminated in the first episode. I said, well, I guess I'm not watching it. They said, I guess the only thing he could win is Big Brother, because every time he's on a challenge, he never makes it to a final. And you the first one out in this show. So I was like, well, thank you for saving me the trip. I don't have to watch it now. Hudson is an investor. His dad owns Zaxby's. Oh, okay. Well, damn, she got somebody. She with somebody with some money. Trump told us to not go back to Africa. Now that's funny. So now you can tell that clear person go back to Africa. Now you better be glad he ain't black. Tell that white African take his ass back to Africa. That is funny. And has told Christy known to raid his child, and that's about to get ugly out here. So now Trump has the power to take away Musk toys. And here's the thing that Musk has. I mean, Trump has Truth Social or Lie Social, because all that comes out of that damn thing is a bunch of damn lies. But that's for the cult. Twitter has a bigger reach. So Elon could go on and start spilling all kinds of stuff, because remember, he did use Twitter, social media, to radicalize a lot of people and spread a lot of misinformation and all kinds of other stuff against the Democrats on the platform. So the one weapon that I will say that Elon does have is Twitter, because he could reach far more people than Donald Trump. Like, how many people y'all know really be on live social? Not a lot. I don't think a lot of people on that, but a lot of people are still on Twitter. So I could definitely feel, yeah, Destination X. I couldn't remember the name. I know it was something with an X in it. He won Big Brother because of Paul making him provoke everyone. You were talking about Paulie Calafiore, who is such a cutie. I don't know why he would call Maria, but that's her man. Even though he said he fluid, and I love the fact that she's with a man that's just love everybody. He like men, he like women. Ain't cute too. Ain't got body. Is that the same Paul you talking about? All right, now, okay, y'all. Now, speaking of homosexuals, since we were just talking about someone that's of the homosexual persuasion, let's get into this Marlon Wayans story. So you know what? It's another year, another time that we got Marlon Wayans coming out and supporting the queer community, because last year he did it and everybody was going in on him. But I love the fact that he's keeping this momentum going. That he's like, you know what? There is no shame in being someone who is a straight man who is celebrating queer people. I also saw a video earlier of Vic Mensa talking about how don't be sleeping on the gays. Like, the gays just want to be left alone. He said gays are not to throw hands. And I'm sitting there like, where in y'all mind y'all think that sissies and punks are literally sissies and punks? I know plenty of, me being one of them. I know how to throw hands. I had to learn how to fight. All my life, I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight all sorts of, okay, let me not do the whole Sophia monologue. But I had to learn to throw them bowls living up in New York City. When you from the hood and stuff, and people over trying to test you and calling you all kinds of F words, those other stuff, you had to learn how to fight. So I don't know. I think a lot of people tend to get a lot of the information from watching too much damn television. So they think that all gays are like the way they're portrayed on TV. But trust and believe, there's a lot of gays out here. Just because you're a homosexual, they still a man at the end of the day. So yeah, let me pull the picture up. So yeah, he just posted this 2 weeks ago and said, "Happy Pride to all my LGBTQ, or as I like to say, Levitical peeps, from my block to my schools, to my cast and crews, to my friends, to my family, wherever you are or have been in my life. I wish you all love and support. You could be a straight man and still love gay people." And the gays were like, "I appreciate you." One said, "Happy Pride Month. Thank you for all the support and love you have given to the community all these years." Another person said, "Yes." Oh, I think I know Julio or Julio. They said, "When straight black men are allies, and we here for it." Like, just because you support, like, nobody trying to sleep with y'all. If you show that you're an ally and you support the community without trying to act like you want something out of the situation, those are the type of people that I like. Someone who's secure enough in their own sexuality. And that's why I love the fact that, you know what, he is a black, because black men, I do feel like, get a bad rap, especially when it comes to the overall stereotype about how black people treat people who are homosexual or a member of the LGBTQ plus community. There's some out here who support their children. That's why I love the fact that you have Dwayne Wade out here who supports his trans child Zaya. You have Marlon, who supports his trans child, Kai. I believe also Eddie Murphy got a trans child with Scary Spice. I don't know how he feels in that situation, but based on some of your past, Eddie Murphy, I know we not out here hating on the trans, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. Just saying. So another person said, "Not y'all mad because he's an ally. It's 2025. Grow up." That's what I'm saying. Like, wait, people in the comments are all upset. All I'm reading so far is positive comments. One person said, "Thank you, Marlon, for being such a supportive ally." Another person said, "This is a man who is comfortable in his skin and in his masculinity. Salute my brother." Another person said, "I remember a while back, you showed everyone your support of our community, and a bunch of people lost their minds in anger, and you just doubled down and smiled in their face. It was great. Keep being you. Hashtag love is love." And that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, he is out here showing love. What are you mad about? If you want to sit up and wallow in your homophobia and be mad because other people who are out here living their best life freely and openly and unapologetically, why are you upset? Even if you're not queer, why don't you go live out loud and proud being who you are, instead of hating on a group of people who just want to who want to live their life authentically and unapologetically and want to be left alone? So we appreciate when we have the celebrities that come out and show the support, because we'll support you instead of those who run out here and acting like that. Oh, well, if you support the community or show that you support in the community, then they trying to sleep with you. Don't flatter yourself. I mean, number one, you should be glad that you can not only pull one gender, but both genders will be thinking that you're attractive. You really got to worry when people don't look at you and thinking that you busted. Then you should be then you should be gagging. Now they said that he paired the message with a playful photo of himself relaxing in a bathtub filled with oversized rainbow-colored balls, holding a matching umbrella, adding a visual celebration to his words. For Wayans, the message hits close to home. The white chick star has been candid about his journey as a parent to his trans son, Kai. And during a 2023 interview with The Breakfast Club, he opened up about processing the transition, not just for Kai, but for himself. He said, quote, "My daughter Amai is now Kai, and so I talk about the transition, not her, his, their transition, but my transition as a parent, going from ignorance and denial to complete unconditional love and acceptance." And I feel like, yeah, even when your child is physically transitioning, the parent is also, can we call it both physically and metaphorically transitioning? Because you have to transition as well. And you're going through this period of like, now I have to see my child is becoming something else. They're finally finding a way to live their true, authentic self. And now I have to grieve the person they once were into them evolving into the person they are today. So it's kind of like the butterfly, well, the cocoon coming out of the cocoon, becoming the butterfly, and that sort of thing. Okay, so then he admitted that adjusting hasn't always been easy. He said, they know I love her and see me trying that I am happy. Adding, it just F's me up when I say they. I'm like, there's two of you, but I gotta respect their wishes. So it's like, yeah, they want to go by they them pronouns. I know some people always say it's a little contradictory that how you refer to yourself as a they when they is not even. So it's a lot. But if this is the thing that we have decided to adopt in our community, that where it's like, yeah, when we're talking about non-binary, gender non-conforming, whatever you want to call it, and the pronouns are they them, if that is something that we've decided to come in and adapt in our community, then that is what it is. And that's one of the things I think people need to realize when you're part of the queer community is that we take things that may seem confusing or obtuse to others, and we create our own little language and we do our own little thing and we call it what it is. So yeah, maybe in the English language, you don't refer to a person as a they and a them. But when we're talking about gender constructs and things of that nature and things that we're coming up with, that is a term that we use. So now in 2024, he revealed that he once tried to hypnotize Kai to stop the transition, an act he now deeply regrets. He said, "I look back on those actions and I'm ashamed. I was embarrassed the moment I was forced to look in the mirror. I was embarrassed." Since then, he arrived at what he calls a beautiful place called acceptance and continues to advocate for other parents navigating similar experiences. So I love the fact that he tells this story because then, unfortunately, sometimes the only way that parents come to terms with stuff. And I've always said that TV, when you see things of people on television, movies, whatever the case is, that usually is the equalizer where people feel that they can find a way to come around and relate to things. It's kind of like when they always say, like, when you watch, I learned to accept my child while I was watching this movie or this show or RuPaul's Drag Race or whatever the case is. And sometimes it always takes the power of television, gets people to change their mind about their own kid and coming to terms with, like, I didn't understand it until I saw this story and it opened my eyes. Because sometimes you got that blinder on and you weren't so much about what the neighborhood think, what your friends think, what your family think, and you have to come to a point where it's like, fuck them people. This is my child. I have to love them unconditionally. And I'm lucky enough that in my family I have that. So congratulations to you, Marlon, and happy Pride to everybody else. So, and we need more allies like him and like that in the world. And hopefully, his story does open up more parents and just people in general to just be more accepting of those who are different than them. So I definitely want to hear from you guys regarding this story. So what do you guys think? I hope he makes this an annual thing that he just comes out and does some new shoot and talks about, this stuff, because we need more. Like I said, we love our straight allies. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, you said Paul Abrahamian. Oh, that's what I was like. That name sounds familiar. Well, you said that now. I was like, wait, he's on the House of Villains, which they're filming right now. By the way, the one with the beard and the tattoos. He said, stay alert. It's happening now. In a couple of weeks, an impeachment will happen to put JD Vance as president. Well, look, we should also remember that JD Vance is the vice president because of Elon Musk. Remember, JD Vance is a Silicon Valley bro. He was somebody who was under Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is someone who has been very prominent in Trump's campaign, where a lot of people have been paying attention to. Follow the crumbs. Oh, it's all coming out. And somebody did predict that it was like, yeah, Trump's not going to last his whole presidency. This might be the beginning of it. Somebody was on point when they were saying about it, and I believe it. They said to put JD Vance as president, which I want to know is that what MAGA wanted. They like Trump, but they don't know the full picture. Elon was just the first phase. The oligarchs are beginning to take. Well, yeah, that was the whole plan. He's the mascot. He's the mascot. But the true people are those Silicon Valley bros who are infiltrating our politics. And the fact that you're openly admitting that this tech bro money has infiltrated our democracy. And you're buying people, you're buying your way into the White House, you're buying our way into our politics, you're buying your way into, welcome to the oligarchy, I guess is what we can call it. Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Why you mad though? Shout out to Morgan McMichaels. Her mom became open-minded to homosexuality after watching an episode of Not La Rosa de Guadalupe. It's a Mexican show you might have heard of. Wait, doesn't Valentina talk about that show? I just wonder if she's mentioned that. All right, now speaking of Valentina and Drag Race, let's get into this final topic because apparently word on the street is Paris Hilton wants to be a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, which no shade, but I'm here for. So I was like, let me pull up her Instagram because she recently performed at We Hope Pride. Shout out to my friend Victor Yates who was there because I saw like a lot of the video footage that he filmed and he posted all over his TikTok. But it was like, yeah, he was he was at We Hope Pride. There was a lot of performers and stuff there. Paris Hilton performed. I saw that Ariana Grande's brother Frankie also performed, and Miss Mom was out there in chaps. She was giving Christina Aguilera dirty era, or should we even? Well, first of all, we shouldn't even be comparing him to Christina because number one, the chaps and the little booty shorts or whatever the case was, that's our thing. Like we go into clubs and parties and things of that nature dressed like that. So that's kind of like our uniform. So Frankie Grande performs. And he definitely did his thing, though. I like, you know what? And the people, I know people gonna be out here hating on Frankie because what he's doing. And I have to apologize about something because when I was watching it, I was feeling away. Like I think I was getting a little uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, girl, you're trying too hard. But I can't be getting mad because I've been the same person that I've been saying. You know what? We sit up out here and we just eat it up whenever these pop girlies get up on stage and want to pander to the homosexuals and things of that nature. But then when we actually have queer performers who show up at these places, who get booked for our pride events, and then they get up there and they start doing the sexual stuff, which I've been clamoring for the longest, then I'm getting uncomfortable. Maybe because I want to see it from somebody like Frankie Grande. But then again, if you're going to be out here being that queer pop girly, then I got to let him do his thing. Because we need more performers out here besides Troye Sivan and Sam Smith. So we need a couple of more, but we don't need just any old white homosexual performer. We need a variety. So where's Vincent? Where's Duran Bernard? Like we need all of them up there doing their thing too. But enough of my little rant on who we needed to queer pride events performing. Let's talk about Paris Hilton. Because the global icon reality star DJ and the best thing to come out of the horror film House of Wax has revealed that the hit reality competition series she wants to appear on Drag Race. So yeah, after performing an eclectic set at the Out Loud Festival to kick off Pride Month, Hilton is now gearing up for a once-in-a-lifetime set at the World Pride Musical Festival in Washington, D.C. You know, the event that Shakira ended up canceling on? But I think Jennifer Lopez will be there. She said, quote, "This means so much to me. It's such an honor to be in DC for World Pride with people celebrating from all around the world. And I think it's so important for everyone to live their truth and celebrate love. The energy is another level." This is what she told Pride, the site. Hilton is not only serving looks and bringing pop star realness to Pride festivals this June, the performer is also teaming up with Rainbow Railroad to help LGBTQ people facing persecution based on their sexual orientation, gender identity, and sex characteristics. Hilton and her nonprofit, 1111 Media Impact, are donating $11 for every video created on TikTok and Instagram using her Infinite Icon remixes up to 111,111 during Pride Month. She said, "It really is a dream come true. I feel like I'm the luckiest girl in the world every day. I've done so many iconic things in my life, but the thing I'm most proud of is passing my bill in federal legislation to protect children from abuse. That is what I'm hoping I'm remembered for using my voice to help others and a change and save people's lives." Although many people in the queer community may be a bit fearful to show their pride this year. Yeah, and that's why I say if y'all going to be out here showing your pride, be safe. But also, y'all shouldn't be in the house hiding because that's what they want. They want you to cower. They want you to be scared. They want you to run for the hills. It's like, no, we got to show our pride. We got to shout from the rooftops even more. This was the time, those times when we were discriminated against, when our ancestors, our queer forefathers and mothers stood up and threw that brick through the window and Stonewall back in the 50s, 1959 to be exact. Saying that, she said, "I love you all. I'm so proud to stand with you and to celebrate you this whole Pride Month and every month of the year. You should be there to celebrate with people who love you. I can't wait to be there with you all." Now, it's safe to say Hilton may be more booked and busier than ever. However, she said that she is manifesting a guest judge appearance on a future season of RuPaul's Drag Race. She said, "My team has been in contact with them. We're just trying to figure out the date that works. I love the show. I love the queens. I can't wait to do it." Well, you also got to remember that she was parodied during an episode of Snatch Game by none other than Gottmik. So it would make sense that we would have Paris on there. And, some people say like, well, Gottmik did work on the show. She did Paris's makeup. But just because you did the makeup don't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to embody all the characteristics of Paris Hilton. But she was just good at playing her in the episode of Snatch Game. And I do think that Gottmik did a great job. And I would love to see Paris Hilton on the show. Why not? Shit, if y'all can put Ice Spice up on that damn show, you could add Paris Hilton. I should not have compared her to her. I mean, look, the gays would definitely eat up the fact of Paris Hilton being a guest judge. I say, well, I don't think they could have her on season 18 because I think season 18 is done. But if they really wanted to, I don't think All Stars 11 has started filming yet, but if they can get Paris to show up on that, I feel like that would be great. So, other than that, I don't know. I want to hear from y'all. Do you guys think that you would like to see Miss Hilton on an episode of Drag Race? I would definitely like to see her on there. I feel like, you know what? One of the things I do get kind of annoyed when they only just want to bring on celebrities and this, that, and the other. I would like for Rue to actually bring on some former Rue girls to be a judge, do challenges and things of that nature. But yes, I do think that it would be a good fit to have someone like a Paris Hilton on there. I would also love to see Madonna on there, but I don't think that'll ever happen. Number one, what Rue said about her in his book, I don't think she'll ever do it. And then the whole situation with her and Michelle, I don't see them doing it either. But yeah, for the most part, I love the show. I like RuPaul's Drag Race, and I definitely want to see Paris Hilton on there. And look, she's made herself known that she is someone who's an ally. I could have sworn that I've heard stories that Paris Hilton was a little homophobic, but maybe she's turned a new leaf, like Miss Candace over there that was on the Housewives of Potomac. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Paris Hilton on a future episode or future season of RuPaul's Drag Race? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Well, you said could she be the first judge for season 18? Well, I don't know because I think that they're done with season 18. But if they're all done with season 18, I could definitely see. Oh, maybe what they could do is. Well, I don't know. I don't think they have guest judges. No, they wouldn't be able to work that. I was gonna say they could have her on the Lollapalooza, but they don't never have a judge on there. What they do is the regular judges, family, and then they'll have Bruno sit up there because he spins a little wheel and pulls out the ball or whatever, and then the girl, they had that whole situation. So I don't see Bruno having to step down and let Paris up there. But and then the finale is they don't bring on guests either. So I could definitely see her being part of all the next season of All Stars. I would think that would be a good place to put her. They could work out her schedule. Someone needs to book Paris for something when she's not commenting on everyone's posts. She should use stars. I would not be surprised if they did that. Don't use nothing for that new album. That new album is terrible. Or if they could be what's that song? Welcome to the something Academy. They can use that song. The Bad Bitch Academy. Isn't that what it's called? Welcome to the Bad Bitch Academy. I remember her song "Turn It Up" was played a lot in clubs because Peter Rollhofer did the remix. Yeah, the remixes were always better than the song that she came out with. And Peter Rollhofer can turn the shittiest track into like gold. Peter's last officially released remix was for Pink's song "Try." Yeah, I still listen to his mixes to this day. Got Mick and Raven did it, so I'm sure they'll key. Paris will probably want to be premiere. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking a premiere guest judge. But you're saying for the main series. So yeah, maybe that'll work. So if she doesn't make it for season 18, then they can book her for season 19. Whenever they're gonna start shooting that. Raven did her in season 2, but that's why nobody remembers it. We all remember Got Mixed. Pablo was probably I forgot that Pablo Vittar and Rue did something. They didn't tell us what it was, but yeah, they probably got Pablo Vittar as a judge. Which has allegedly so they started filming. You said the alleged first bracket. Oh, they still keeping the bracket thing. Oh, it's funny how we still in the middle of the current All Stars and they filming the next All Stars. They had Connie Britton for the All Stars non-finale. I like Connie Britton. Back when I used to watch her on 911, I forgot what other shows she was on, but I always like Connie Britton. Okay, y'all. All right, so y'all, we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Kris Avalon Unfiltered. I won't be on tomorrow because, like I said, I'll be working the Lil Wayne concert, but I'll try to see if I can shoot y'all a show over the weekend if I'm not too busy doing stuff. So, yeah, I'll try to give y'all a weekend show. If not, I'll see y'all on Monday. But, yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in and constantly supporting the show and all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao, darlings.